right. Hey, fam. So thank you guys for coming to hang out here over on my stream. I'm gonna be doing some casting here with Kevin, the Mr. Purge Gamers himself. I'm not sure. I think he might be streaming on his channel too. We are going to be joining each other in a call right now. We're just waiting for this lobby to launch. See a lot of new faces. Thank you for the subs. I saw Turtle Taka subbed. And Phoenix Rising, thank you for that too. And again, this is a community broadcast, which means that we will be on a 15-minute delay, unfortunately. I know it kind of sucks because everybody wants to see it live as it's happening, but that's just the nature of the beast. We're just lucky that we're able to do anything just in general. So really big game today, like super excited about it. This is of course Evil Genius's first DPC game against Infinity. Infinity already had a game the other day, so they're looking, pretty decent. They've got, I believe, Parker on the team, which is the big name. And I will say, if you watched my video, I'm not sure if any of you guys have. I know a couple people were watching the stream yesterday. I did do my power rankings in terms of what team was going to come out on top and what teams are going to struggle a little bit. I put Infinity closer towards the top middle pack. I had Evil Geniuses in the first position because they're an all-star team. They're literally, like, you look at them on paper and like a single one of those players wouldn't be snapped up in an instant, I guess, for lack of a better term. And then you've got Beast Coast right underneath them, which is made up of the leftovers. So they've got a bone to pick for sure against Evil Geniuses. And then it starts to like break down a little bit in terms of which teams are going to be, hitting the top. In fact, I'm going to pull open my rankings again. So I have Evil Geniuses top, Beast Coast is second, Infinity and Alliance Alat-Am are both around the 3 or 4. Either one could take those because Hokuri has put up a really excellent fight in the past. Like, they made it to TI. Yes, there was some like weird shit going on during all that due to some nonsense happening with some of the other players and teams. Some of it was, that the power electricity got locked out for, I think it was Tempest, got knocked down rather. And then unfortunately we had some issues with a courier being named something quite racist. So I honestly think that they showed up, they looked good. But then you also have Infinity. Infinity is the other squad that has a lot of up-and-coming talent. I'm pretty excited to see what they can do too. Infamous, solid middle of the pack, honestly. Like, they're definitely not going to come out on top, but they're definitely not going to come out in bottom. And then you've got Thunder Awaken, a very like young squad, like needs some time to really develop. Could be a threat eventually, but I don't think this tour is going to be it for them. And then Ravens and Vivo, again, you've got, some of the like younger kids. You've got Pipi, Cara Desmar. Vivo is the Brazilian squad that hasn't quite found their stride yet, and I think might be a little bit more based off of Patch. Very talented player. So yeah, right now, this is going to be a big barometer test, I think, for Infinity. I think that Evil Geniuses, obviously, sitting at the very top. Infinity is going to just throw themselves at them, see what they can do, see what they can learn. I'm super goddamn hype, honestly. Again, 15-minute delay, so we'll be able to talk to chat a little bit, which will be awesome. And I can see over here, yeah, we've got some new faces. This will be fun indeed. Yeah, very excited for the games. What are you guys thinking? Oh, I should make some polls too, right? I should throw a poll up here. Let's see, /poll. Who wins the series? Actually, who wins the first game would be better. I want to see how many people believe in Infinity. And we'll do it 5 minutes. Start poll. Now, this lobby should have launched by now, and it has not. We've had a lot of really late starts, unfortunately. So, all right. Hold on. We can go right here and we can show you who Infinity is. Watch. Infinity has Leo Style, Prada, Genic, Devil is Parker, And Kami, I don't think that's what the name is going under. I will check though. I don't think it's Kami. I think it's Frank. That's right. Frank the Tank. So you've got Parker, who is probably the next up-and-coming big player in South America. He is an amazing core player, position 1. Frank, who was on Thunder Awaken for like the longest time, plays really known for his centaur, like really tanky heroes. That's why we call him Frank the Tank. Leo Style, who is, honestly, I think he's a great mid player. He did get into some drama, unfortunately, a little while back. One of his couriers was saying something very racist, which was very disappointing because I was a big Leo Style fan. Was not happy with him, obviously, when that happened. And still, though, like, with the right team, can perform excellent. I don't think he is at his peak right now. I think he definitely could use some I think he could definitely use some, you know, just more time to play. He's got the experience, but I think he needs the right team behind him. And then Jenik and Prada, both very solid supports. Pretty much everyone knows Evil Geniuses, but we'll go over the roster anyways. We got Panda playing position 5, captain support. We have Chris playing the mid, Matthew also support Whisper, and obviously something dark inside me is very edgy name, is of course Pakaz. So this is an all-star squad. I thought they would take some time to come online, but they look like scary. They played, I think, BTS Pro Series, and they were absolutely terrifying looking. And I have a feeling they're only going to get better, because now not only do they have like an all-star squad, they have an amazing, just an absolutely amazing amount of, you know, support behind them when you have teams like Evil Geniuses. This is an org that has money, that has the resources, so I think that this is going to be the squad that makes it like really far at TI this year. As long as they don't become complacent, because that's another huge problem, right? Is that a lot of the guys, they get on top of the world, and then they're like, this is cushy. I don't have to, you know, work as hard or whatever. No, man. Keep it up. Keep working. And I want to see some content, Evil Geniuses. If anyone who's from Evil Geniuses is watching the stream, make some content with these boys and explain the Spanish memes. Like, easy content. Everybody wants to hear it. All right. That being said, though, we're just waiting for this game to start. The lobby's full. They're going to be playing on Argentina. So that's a pretty good good compromise for both of the teams. Keep laughing because Evil Geniuses is like, this is such a big name, but Neff and I keep referring it to Guaxi's team. Those of you who don't know, Guaxina is the former manager of Beast Coast. She followed the boys over to Evil Geniuses. Amazing manager. But it's just funny because, like, it's such a big brand, right? It's Evil Geniuses. And we're just like, oh, yeah, Guaxi's team. Guaxi's team's playing today. So that's the unofficial name of Evil Geniuses. For all of those people who have been following the SA scene forever, it's Guaxi's team. Just talking to Kevin over here. I don't know if he wants to start the call. Hey, Wolf Mooney. What's up, guys? Alright, so who do we have so far? Only one person's cheering for Infinity in my entire chat? Guys. You guys believe that much, huh? Alright, what do you guys think about the meta picks right now? Because, like, we've been seeing Lena get banned like crazy. I absolutely expect to see Leo Style or Chris Luck, both of them play an amazing Lena. I would not be surprised to see that absolutely removed. What else do you guys think is going to get taken out here? You love that Centaur's back, Devin? I mean, that is a Frank specialty. I don't know if it's enough to, like, ban it early on. You know, the running joke with me, too, is just, like, I can't, like, with Frank playing Dazzle in the off lane, I just can't get behind it. It starts off and I'm like, oh, this looks pretty good. This looks like, they're going to be able to do it. And then it always lets me down. So Rubik's been picked a lot in China. I think that's because like the mid-lat matchups a lot of the times too. We were having that discussion. I think it was talking with Kips in another Discord, and she was saying that you're gonna, with the Lena coming up, you're going to see a rise of Leshrac, and you're probably gonna see a rise of the Rubik pickup too. Which Chris Luck is no what's the word? He's no stranger to playing the mid Rubik. Let Lena through and pick Sniper? No, keep Sniper out of my games. Shanti Dodo, I'm sorry. Party Horn is broken. And usually if I'm just streaming normally, I'd just be like, whew, make the manual noise. But since we're casting, don't expect me to go whew in the middle of the game. Unless, I don't know, I think Kevin will probably laugh at me. Although he always laughs at me. I feel like the tempo of the game is pretty fast right now. What would you guys like to see too in a patch? Because I know Neff just thinks it's so boring right now. He wants to see something shooken up because it's very flowchart Dota at this point. He says he doesn't want to see jungle back. I like the jungle, but I think it's been kind of removed. Yeah, Draft Blues. You want to see a shake up? Same, Swashbuckler Jack. Beast Chad, yeah, map change. Yeah, same. I would like to have supports be able to do something different than just sit there and lane, or like have another way to like rotate, which I feel like SA would really benefit from too, because like I feel like a lot of these support players shine the most when they're able to make these like big rotations early on. Matthew in particular is one of those players that I think has played some of the most interesting position 4s. Over time, I think he played like the position 4 Ember, position 4 Void Spirit. I know Thiola Core too, over on Alliance Latam. Very, very good when he's allowed to like make these rotations. So would definitely love to see something like that. I don't know. If maybe, do we add camps? Do we take away camps? Do we add more like ramps and stuff? So much fun. Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about SA Dota, and it's always been something that I enjoy. Oh, okay, the game has launched. Excellent. Alright, I'm gonna start my call then with Kevin. And we can have a little pre-game chatter. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I probably have to turn your volume up because that's the #1 complaint usually whenever we cast is Moxie's too loud and Purge is too soft.
That's true. I have very soft skin. Moxie's skin is like granite.
The better to let things bounce off me. So how are you, dude?
Exterior.
Yeah, there we go. Real
item
Craig.
was banned. It was not. Moxie took them all and lathered them all over her skin.
How was the dog park?
The dog park was good. I managed to make sure Tango didn't eat any poop this time. She barked at this old man. I was like picking up poop and I looked up and she started barking at this guy that was walking. And I felt really bad because, when she barks, she doesn't bark at people too much lately. But he has a habit of doing it in the past. And he probably just had a bad vibe or something, or maybe tried to pet her and she wasn't down for it. I don't know what it was. So I apologized. I brought her to me, sat her down to show like, oh, I promise I have control over my dog a little bit. And then when we walked away, I heard barking. I turned around and another dog was barking at him. And I was like, oh shit, is it him? Is he the problem?
Oh, no.
Does he have like bad vibe? But then like as we walked more around the circle, that dog would like bark at anything if some other dog barked. It's like a repeater, It's like one dog barks and that dog's like, oh, some shit's going down. So it like looks around. It's like, it wasn't even a big dog. It was like a 30-pound dog. And it was like a nice looking dog. But it was just like, if any dog was barking anywhere in the park, once it got close to that area, it'd start barking at something, thinking like, oh, this is probably the thing that we should bark at. So I don't know if it was Tango's fault or the guy had bad vibes, but I'm not sure.
So they just had a barky boy. I'm learning the been going to the dog park quite like
Mm-hmm.
often now with my dog, and
Yeah.
he likes playing in the big dog area.
Yep.
Like he's not that
How many
big yet.
pounds?
Like he's only like 21 pounds right now. He's
Okay.
all
So
legs.
he's small for, yeah, a dog park. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
For a big
very
dog.
tall, but he just
Mm-hmm.
like, and all the dogs that he plays with are like giant dogs. So like he goes running around, but like I'm always afraid because he's like he'll sniff other dogs and like they'll be about to take a pee or like pop a squat or something, and I'm like, no, don't
Yeah.
get peed on.
Yep. Yeah. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did Tango
This.
have that issue when she was little?
Well, we only got her at 9 months, so she was already like 30 pounds, and
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think she had that issue because she is. I think she was a street dog, so she has like some boundaries where she just like, I don't know. I don't know if she's gone peed on before accidentally or what, but no, it was more like trying to make sure that she wasn't fighting dogs and being bad kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
like it. You know, scrappy.
yeah, she has that problem. A couple days ago, she was sniffing right by a fence, and this
Hmm.
bigger dog, it was probably like 70 pounds. It was like a black lab or something. It kind of
Hmm.
came sprinting at her, and she didn't see it coming until like he got close, so she got spooked a little bit. And it was like it was bad manners by that dog. It's like you shouldn't sprint full bore at a dog because that
Yeah.
dog's gonna think it's trying to fight you, you know. So Tango was
Hmm.
like uncomfortable at first. Then they go to smell each other's butts, and then Tango
Hmm.
takes one step past, and then she turns around and starts fighting that dog. And I was
Oh
like, did that
no.
dog like lick you directly on your genitals or something? Like, if not, that's not fucking okay, you know? So I buzzed her a couple times and got her to come back.
Oh,
But it
you've got
was
a
like,
buzzer on her?
I finally got one because I had this really bad interaction with this guy who was like yelled at me for like 45 seconds
Oh
because Tango
no.
lunged at his dog. He was definitely unreasonable, but Tango definitely did something bad. She kind of
Hmm.
like charged and barked at him and his dog on a leash,
Hmm.
and then she backed off, and I got her. But it was like that guy was like so unreasonable about the
Hmm.
situation. Like he was understandably mad, but he was like mad for too long to the sense where I was like, okay, if Tango would actually like bit him or the dog, that guy's calling the cops 100%, you know. So I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
and you
finally
only
gonna
get
get a
so many
collar.
strikes. Hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't want to get a collar because I didn't want to shock her because I thought that was unethical. But it has a vibrate and a beep function. Those work great on her. So I should have bought it so fucking long ago. It like really helps because now if I say no, there's an association with it. I press the beep, so she feels now like I have control from
Hmm.
range, even though she could still just not listen to me. But now she
Hmm.
thinks I do. So it's actually helped a lot. Even in the car now, if she sees squirrels or dogs, she used to like she had this thing that she built up where she would freak out, jump all over the car, barking like fucking crazy. She just
Oh
like
jeez.
doesn't do that anymore. And I just because she knows like, oh, he always has control in her mind. Whereas before, if she's in the dog park, she's like, haha, I can get away with anything. But now she's like, oh shit, he might make a little beep noise on my collar. My collar might vibrate, you know. So
Yeah.
that's how I control her now. It helps a lot.
Yeah, we have a little like the beep and vibrate thing for Columbus, but we haven't used it yet because
Mm,
he's usually pretty good. Like the most naughty thing that he does really is that he likes cords and he likes the cords only in
mm-hmm,
my room for some reason. I don't know
mm-hmm.
why. So like he's chewed through like some of my headphones, he's chewed through a
Uh,
couple cables, like
yeah,
I don't
I
know.
got
I'm not
wireless. It's
that's
definitely
what
worth
I'm
wireless
wearing
for dog.
wireless earbuds now, but now I have a little bit of latency with Dota, which I'm trying to figure out like how to minimize. I'm just starting
I
to get
mean,
used to it.
are you just gonna get a wireless headset? Is what you should do.
I don't like the headsets because they're like really heavy
Uh,
usually.
yeah, I
So
suppose I
like
know
I
your
like the
head is
earbuds.
sensitive, right, to pressure, or you get headaches.
Yeah, yeah, I have to be
Hmm.
careful with stuff like that. But
That
it's
is a
working
bummer.
out
I guess so. I mean,
okay.
delayed sound sounds awful,
It's
but
like the tiniest bit. It's like 2 milliseconds
okay.
or something like that. Because like I was noticing, I'd get a last hit and I wouldn't hear the familiar sound like right away, and I was like, oh, that's really weird.
Are you sure
But
it's familiar?
it's very funny, Kevin.
Thank you, thank
I miss this. I miss this. Um, but yeah, like I've had to change a lot of things over and like chewed through my Ethernet cable one day. So Brian actually went up
you.
to
Yeah,
the attic and he's like rewired the entire house now, so all the cables go through the upstairs.
I see. Dude, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great that he put the effort in. I still we laid our cables on the ground and we haven't touched them. They go over doors and stuff, but like
Mhm.
yeah, I haven't gone through the hassle of actually wiring them. I wish when I was in college, every time we would go we were looking for a place to rent with my friends, and every interview there'd be like four of us and like a landlord or something, and I'd be
Mhm.
like, "Is your house wired for Ethernet?" And they were like, "What? What does that mean?" You know, because this was like 2006 or 2007. They're like,
Yeah.
"Wired Ethernet? Everyone just uses Wi-Fi." And I was like, "Oh, this is important to me." You know, like such a fucking dumb thing to ask. You know, but
Yeah.
it's really nice. Just plug into the wall, Ethernet, etc. But luckily, Tango doesn't chew cables, so definitely
Well,
recommend the wireless.
she's older too. I feel like that's such a
Yeah,
puppy thing to like chew the wires. Although I guess some of the bigger dogs do
yeah,
that as well, but I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah. Yeah, my guys are like wired for Ethernet probably sounds like a drug thing to the landlord.
Probably, yeah. When I lived in California, my girlfriend at the time had this mouse. She used to play Dota in the same room as me, and she had
Mhm,
this mouse that was like so fucking annoying. It was a loud clicker. I might have told
mhm.
you the story, but I'm gonna tell it anyways because it's funny. And Tango, like, I hated that mouse because it was just so loud. You could like hear it on my videos and stuff. Tango
Oh wow.
fucking chewed through that mouse cable. She almost never chewed mouse cables, but that
Mhm.
one she fucking chewed through it. And I felt so. I was like, oh, that's really just too bad. Because we'll have to get you a new mouse now. I bought like some different brand, and the mouse clicking was like much quieter.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was because the cord was like dangling and bouncing because of right clicking and
Yeah.
moving, you know, or something, and that's why she chewed that one. But ah, it felt so good.
I'd assume that's what it is. Although none of my cables were bouncing or moving, and he just decided to like go for him. So who knows? But again, I feel like that's just a puppy thing. They like start to
Yeah.
chew. He started to take an interest in shoes now. Like he never showed any
Ooh.
interest in them before, and all of a sudden, like all of my shoes are missing. So's Brian's, and I'm like, what the heck? So we're
So
putting
he's
them in the
just moving
closet.
them.
He's
Okay.
just yeah, he doesn't like really chew on them. He's just picking them up and like bringing them over to like the areas that he likes to sit in.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know.
That's
He's
not bad.
he's a weirdo. He likes to go under the covers and sleep under the covers, like at like
Oh,
you know
that's
near your
wonderful.
feet.
That's so
He's very
cozy.
warm.
Dude,
But
that
then you
sounds
try
so
to like
adorable.
it's really cute, but like at night, like because he's all legs, like he'll just kick you all the time, not
Mm,
meaning to, but he's not like a he like makes little puppy noises when he sleeps too. Like he'll
mm.
snore or
That's
he'll
cute.
like make little like puppy yipping or like I don't know. So he's crated at night and then the morning he gets cuddle time, but like he's such a
That's
weirdo.
good.
He is such a weirdo. But yeah, so I could talk about dog stuff forever, honestly, because it's fun to
Me
talk
too.
to a fellow dog owner now. But we do have at some point this game is going to begin. We are on a 15-minute delay, guys. So
15. Ooh,
apologies. It is a full 15 from Dota TV.
bummer.
But we can
Yeah,
talk to our wonderful chat now while we
that's
we
right.
hang out and wait for it.
The
I was
worst thing about the
talking.
delay is definitely if you're trying to do weatherman. Let me tell you, it ain't fun. Makes it much harder. Who are you talking to?
I was talking to my chat about how, Evil Geniuses just came into the region. They've got like this all-star squad that like
Hmm.
I made a little video yesterday of like just talking through each of the South American teams and like what to expect and what teams
Oh,
like players are like, really gonna be popping off. And I got to like the Evil Genius part and I like thought back about it later and I was like, man, I really just like full on fangirled about this team.
they're really. I mean, understandably, like they were stupidly downplayed by some people, even going into TI. But like, they had such good performances as Thunder Awaken for like tournament after tournament. The only tournament they choked was the one where Dark Mago couldn't go, and they had a substitute, and they just played worse, and they got knocked out kind of early. But it's like they overperformed as a region more than any other region last year. That was the reality. And now that they're just like blended the power teams, it's like really fucking exciting actually.
There's
Totally
such a
get why
cool
you're geeking on them.
Yeah, there's totally such a cool storyline too because Evil Geniuses comes into this region and like, ooh, draft is getting started.
Ooh.
They come into this region and they swoop up like the best players, right? And so once they do that, now you've got the leftovers from Thunder Awaken and Beast Coast, which then blended to make their own squad. So it feels like it's such a grudge match. Like, they want to prove, like, we're not the leftovers, we're not the rejects, but they got to take down this all star squad to do it. It's so hype, man. I'm so
Hmm.
excited.
Yeah, it's really good. I watched the Thunder Awaken Ravens replays last night. At least like
Mhm.
30 minutes of them before it was one sided. Do you know that much about the Thunder Awaken lineup? I don't know
Yeah,
those
the
players
Thunder
that well.
Awaken squad is so it's a newer lineup. It's got Alone, who was one of like the up and coming like mid players for a while now, for like maybe 3 years. I think I
Gotcha.
started watching him when he was 15, 16. I
He was
think he's
amazing
like
in the replays. I was really impressed. I was like, holy shit, this guy's really fucking good.
Yeah, Michael's also incredible. Excel's been around forever. Smiling Knight is he moved over, obviously from Eastern Europe, which that one's a big question mark to me. I
Well,
don't know
I
how
didn't
he's
even
going to
notice.
perform.
He played
And
well in games. Yeah.
yeah, then there's Illich, who I think he was KB. He was in NA DPC, I think, originally.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
which
Yeah, they
team
played
was
real
that?
solid, I thought. So
Oh,
that was
five-man
a nice
Midas.
surprise. Interesting. Okay, cool. So yeah, good history there. That's really good to know. Oh, for some reason I thought they were playing Ravens. Or I just did a really. I'm dumb. I thought they were playing Ravens today, not Infinity, but
Oh,
I have done poor research. Clearly,
it's okay. I've done my research. I'll
I
carry you.
I got confused because they were previously Thunder Awaken, and then they got grabbed by EG partially, right? So then I was like, oh
Mhm.
look, they played one game already, is what I thought in my head. And then when I went to watch it, I was like, oh, that's right. This is the new Thunder Awaken, not the old one. So they haven't played yet. But then I was like, oh, but they're playing Ravens, is what I thought for some reason.
So
Actually,
yeah, so they're playing
Wikipedia
Infinity,
shows
who
that.
already played one game.
Oh, I see what I
Infinity.
did wrong. Okay, sorry. Do you want me to
It's
clarify?
okay.
I look at Wikipedia, and week one has like the 3 teams. The one
Mhm.
immediately to the right, I assumed was the next match, but that's week 2, January 17th. I needed to go down to January 12th where they're playing Infinity. Okay, that's how I fucked up. I was like, okay, they're playing Ravens, so that's worth watching. All right, whatever. I watched 2 unrelated teams
But it's
in
gonna come back
preparation for this match.
around. It's gonna come back
Eventually.
around, Purge. You'll be able to say, I remember when I watched this team by accident, but now it's totally relevant and I can give you all this information on them.
Good.
Uh,
Good.
but yeah, so anyways, they're up against Infinity. For whatever reason, Jim Park it's Frank and Devil is Parker. So Frank used to play on Thunder Awaken. Leo Style back in the day played on Thunder Awaken. I believe he was playing on was it Infamous or Infinity last TI, and he was the one who got in trouble for the racist courier name, unfortunately.
Yes. Which
And then
player was that?
Parker
Sorry?
is
Did you say Leo Style?
yeah,
What
Leo
player got
Style
in trouble?
was
Okay.
very, very disappointing because I was a big fan of his because I thought he had a lot of potential. But and then Devil is Parker, which is the newest up and coming star, I would say, of South America. This is the guy that everybody's talking about for core position 1.
Oh, mate.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on Parker. I mean, Pacaz is still amazing to me. That guy, I didn't know very much about him until last season, but it was like very, very clear that he's incredibly good at his role. I think this EG lineup is definitely the team I'm most excited about out of all of the regions, I think, in terms of what it can do for the scene. And even like the Beast Coast lineup, I can't wait to see how that one does too. SA just looks really good right now. So, draft specific stuff. Blitz told me after I watched the Team Liquid matches, they picked Rubik first in both of their 2 games against who was that Team Secret, and he said it's just the best trading support right now. And if you look at the hero, your average base damage is like 55. Your armor as Rubik, you're wearing a fucking cape. It's 4.8 Moxie. Does that guy look like he has armor? He's got a fucking cape.
He's got
armor's
magic armor. You
4.8.
play D&D. You know how this shit works.
I guess he's got magic armor. His AC is high, but it's not through damage resistance. It's by evasion. But high damage, high armor. Fade Bolt reduces damage against opponents as well. You secure range creeps. He's just a really solid support, and that's why he's being picked early. Wind Ranger response, though, that shit's wild. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. That's weird. Dawnbreaker, sure, whatever. But we do, and there's also no Doom in the first phase, which is also wacky. Maybe that's because there's Rubik, and Rubik against Doom is kind of good, and Infinity didn't pick him. But a little surprised there's no Doom. That's the hero that's definitely missing here. Broodband second phase into the first phase is also different than some of the other regions, but Timberband first phase weird. But other than that, approximately business as usual.
Yeah, I was talking with Neff about the Brood the other day because it did get picked up in the Beast Coast versus Vivo Keedstar game, and he was saying like he doesn't feel like the Brood is as good now because of the nerfs to Wraith Pact and whatnot. Like it felt like I think Pavel was playing it, and it just really if you can shut it down early enough where it's struggling to get farm, it just was not effective. I don't know how you feel about that.
True in the sense that Wraith Pact is significantly worse. It doesn't just fit all situations now. It has to be situational. But the Greaves build is the substitute. And as somebody that has been overbuying Greaves for literally years, they do accomplish similar things in terms of they keep your team alive and they give you armor, and they give you armor aura. So Greaves and Mech and Vlad's are kind of similar in that way. So it's a substitute. Teams are definitely exploring it and using it. And yeah, what he said about it getting shut down. If it gets shut down, for sure, it's going to be weaker. But the Greaves build still functions, and in almost every other region, Brute is still being picked. So I agree with him, but it's still good enough for sure.
All right. Well, we've got a couple interesting picks here over on both sides, right? You've got Infinity's picked up the puck and the Wind Ranger. I know Leo Style loves playing Wind Ranger, but he's also a fantastic puck. So there is some flexibility with that. And over on Evil Geniuses, that Mars pickup, I'm not sure exactly where that one's headed. It could go over to Whisper, who is super, super fun to watch on this hero. Could also be Chris Luck, too. But with the Tusk pickup, I'm not 100% sure. What are you thinking?
I'm sorry. I was reading my chat. I got distracted thinking about the Tusk pickup. Is that what you were?
So the Tusk and the Mars, right? Because you could have Chris Luck play the Mars or the Tusk, and then the same thing goes for Whisper playing Mars or Tusk. Which would you prefer to see?
It's much more likely that it's going to be Chris Smile playing Tusk, because Tusk mid has just been in like almost every game that I've watched. It's not like good enough to ban in the first phase typically, so it makes it through. And it kind of ends up just accomplishing a lot of things. It's decent against the Lena carry. So I think it's extremely likely that it's Chris Luck or Chris Smile playing Tusk and Whisper playing Mars. That's my expectation. But yeah, they could definitely be flexible if they really want to. I like Rubik Mars a lot too as a dual lane. That just sounds really good because you've got 2 movement capabilities. Basically, you can throw him back into a spear, for example. It just feels like that's going to be like a monster lane. And then Tusk mid will do his Tusk things and get a lot done. I guess Puck against Tusk mid is kind of cool because it's easier to actually play around Snowball and stuff like that. You can get away from shards. So I assume they're picking Puck as like a Tusk solution. Also, if you Dream Coil Tusk, he cannot use Snowball. So that's another really good thing going for them. So I think they're trying to beat the Tusk with some counters here. I still don't know what's up with the Wind Ranger. They must just like it or something.
Might be for Genic.
Yeah.
Because I'd assume the Dawnbreaker is going to be the Frank hero.
Could be offlane, could be carry. They're very lane flexible with their draft for sure. It could be lots of stuff, but it's a little bit out of meta, that's all. But I would say EG's lineup looks very meta. They pick the Rubik. They have the Tusk. Mars has been played in a lot of games. Silencer's high win rate right now, so that makes sense too. Yeah. Loxy, this is an embarrassing question, but do you know how to run what's it called? Predictions in chat using channel points? I don't even know.
Yeah, I have Carl 402 over in my chat. So you're gonna do /poll and then hit enter. And then I'm going to do who won the draft for game 1 on my channel. Because I already did the who do you think's going to win. And my chat was overwhelmingly Evil Geniuses. Did it work for you?
I just did poll who wins. So it's just like a poll? But
so you just do /poll and hit enter.
Yeah. And then a poll comes up, yeah?
Yeah, and then you can write down everything you want.
And then they can...
And then they can put their points on the line, and they can vote, and...
But this just looks like a normal poll. I'm confused. How is that the same?
I don't know what else you're asking for. Like...
Oh, this is just a poll.
Yeah. You want an actual gamble?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have that function. Do we?
It's oh yeah, everybody does it on like it's prediction.
Oh, it's prediction. Oh, sorry. Okay, I will change this. We're all learning something new here today.
Who wins? Evil Geniuses.
Wait, how do I change my manage prediction? Oh, Cascaron did it. Thank God. Wait, no. What? Okay.
Let's do 2 minutes. Start prediction. How do you confirm the prediction?
Submission period.
I don't know.
Is the streamer or mod?
I have done it.
I've done it too. Did it work? Oh, predict with channel points. There we go. I think we did it.
We must gamble with fake points that have no value. Very important. Because I have not set up any rewards or challenges. But we will get there. Fen is the pick. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Decent carry. armor to keep everybody alive, I feel like it's going to lead to Infinity having major damage issues. Right now, they don't have great damage, especially if this is Wind Ranger support. Undying 5, like, they just don't have much. Wind Ranger applies almost no damage other than Power Shot. Undying can do damage, obviously, but, like, Warcry is going to offset all the zombie damage, help people disengage if they need to. And then it's got to be, like, Puck, Dawnbreaker. They need some, like, high damage carry right now. Mixed damage would be good. Maybe a Morphling, but Sven is a strength. Oh, Morphling's banned, sorry. I
I like how the respect ban immediately came out from Evil Geniuses for Parker's TA. It was like the first phase ban.
Yeah, that's a little abnormal, actually. CTA.
He is so good on TA. That is like his best hero. He is like the TA player in South America now. It used to be Chris Luck, right? Now it's all Parker.
Someone asking if this is the first Wind Ranger DPC pick. It is actually not. They picked it mid against Gunner last night. Who was the team playing Gunners now? Nouns. I don't remember. But they picked it in response to a Viper because they were worried about getting outplayed mid, and he still got outplayed mid. Gunner killed him.
Yeah, so it is the Genic Wind Ranger, and it's gonna be Okay, so it's a position 1 Dawnbreaker with an offlane Ursa. Is that a thing?
I mean, you can play him offlane if you need to, just because you are trying to dodge stuff. Who the hell is Jim Park?
So that's Frank. I don't know why his name is Jim Park.
Tag up, you assholes, making our lives harder.
I mean, to be fair, it showed Pakaz as something like really emo and edgy. If you were going in through the client originally, so maybe they thought it was gonna fix itself.
Oh, this is a offlane Rubik, actually. Whisper's playing it. Oh, hell yeah, dude. I'm so jacked now. Okay, this can kind of work. Want to give a quick shout out to Sexy Bambo for playing offlane Rubik in one of Zephyr's TI qualifier games when nothing was on the line except for honor. He played offlane Rubik and he fucking stole clips and killed everybody. Gotta shout him out there. He's like, fuck it, I'm playing offlane Rubik, his favorite hero. And we're like, okay. And he just
someone's got to have a heroic drop for that, right? Somewhere in the world.
Probably.
Did they have those going on?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was Zephyr drops at the time for items.
That'd be so cool to get that.
Yeah, but so he's got high. All right, offlane int heroes. I love playing them. The downside is that you need your support to be there more often because you are very squishy, so you can be killed. But because he's ranged, it accomplishes a couple things. He doesn't have to worry about the Ursa matchup at all now. Now that's probably part of the reason they're flexing it, because they're like, well, I don't want to play Mars against Ursa. That's going to suck. So instead, I will play an offlane Rubik, which is Whipples invited me to a party. This is a bad timing, Whipples.
This is a bad timing. So this is my mistake. Jim Park is Parker, by the way. I had it backwards. Devil is Frank. So that makes a lot more sense now, having the Rubik in the, or sorry, not the Rubik, having the Ursa in that safe line position, and then having Dawnbreaker off. Thank you, KM Dota. I don't know why my brain had those swapped around. I also need to turn down in-game sounds because all of these ta-da sounds are extremely loud.
All right, and then, so yeah, Rubik is going to be high armor. He's going to be able to run away from the Ursa, and then hopefully Mars can transition to a relatively fast Blink Dagger and doesn't get too far behind, is the goal.
This is one thing I love about Matthew, too, is he has always been, like, the position 4 that I've watched that isn't afraid to do, like, weird stuff. I know we talk about, like, Secret in the past, you know, having Apsar play kind of strange position 4s, but Matthew is one of those people that really has shown on them. I mentioned this in some of my other videos. He used to run the Ember and the Void Spirit 4 a couple of years ago, like, and he was the only one doing it at the time. Like, he made it look so good. And it made everybody guess, like, who's playing that mid lane?
I see. Yeah, and that is a really nice thing for pro teams and competitive matches to try to figure that out. But it's probably a Matthew is good at Dota thing, and not so much like those heroes were very viable. The Ember 4 especially had a lot of issues. Void Spirit makes more sense, but the Ember one is kind of goofy. You're like setting up with slight chains, and that's literally all you're accomplishing. So, okay.
He's able to just move around the map so much once he got that 6. It was very cool to watch. You'll have to... Not that you have, like, you know, a shit ton of, like, spare time, but if you ever get the chance to watch some of the games that he played on that hero, he made it look so good.
I believe that, yeah. He's a very good player. Creep wave ends up under tower. Keep an eye on Pakaz, guys. If you did not watch much of last season, he is insanely good. In my opinion, the best carry in South America.
Yep,
Very, very
I would
solid
agree
player.
with that. I don't know who's better. It's either Whisper or Pakaz at this point. I don't know who the best player is.
Best player overall. It's hard to compare that if it is different regions, you know. God, I'm so excited he's playing offlane Rubik. I assume he's just going to go normal items and then transition. The downside to playing the other downside to playing squishy heroes in the offlane usually is that in the mid game you end up not having enough frontliners. So having a hero like Mars to be your other support is very helpful because you kind of need somebody to go in. And the fact that it's also a Sven and it's also a Tusk mid, it really solves all those problems. So I think he's going to be able to get away with this. It's just really a question of what he does with the high net worth, with the extra net worth. And I assume it'll just be normal stuff. He's got a Null Talisman, I believe, about to walk out. No, he's going to go Magic Wand first. Magic Wand. Some more fruit. He's a thirsty boy. Hungry, thirsty.
I was about to say, a fruit
I
being
don't know.
thirsty? I mean, maybe grapes, I guess that could work.
I mean,
but
there's a lot of fluids in fruit, actually. If you eat a lot
it's
of
true.
fruit, you don't have to drink
Watermelon
as much
literally
water.
has the word water in it.
Exactly. Watermelon's like 80% water or something by weight. It's huge. And Whisper will not be the same. He's got a lot of fiber in his being. He's a very strong player. He's got 5 armor right now. Not much water here. 5.8 actually. It's insane. Moxie, how much water's in your body?
I am mostly water, I believe. I'm working on staying hydrated. I've actually, oh, that's a good little shackle. Some pressure being placed on Pakaz down here. I'm still getting over being sick, so apologies if I just cut out for a minute. It's because I'm coughing and I don't want everybody to hear me just blah, blah, blah everywhere.
Or your Ethernet cable has been chewed through. It's going to be one.
No, I'm all through the attic, baby.
Oh, okay.
Unless my
Literally
dog has somehow learned how to get through the attic crawl space thing. Then I have other
always
problems.
cables. She can chew. Is it a boy or a girl? I can't remember.
It's a boy, yeah.
Boy. He can always chew through some cable or something to eat.
Please
it doesn't
no,
happen.
no more cables. He only goes after my shit too. That's the worst part. He doesn't go after any of Brian's shit. It's always mine.
Your cables probably smell better, so you probably wear perfume and nice stuff.
On my cable?
Yeah, it walks
That's like
down,
some
yeah.
Legally Blonde, like when she says that her resume's like scented.
Oh god. I mean, that's the strategy. Some people do that.
I guess that's not something I was aware of. Man, they are just farming up a storm here. We've been seeing some aggression coming out from both sides of the lanes, but no hard committal just yet. And I guess it's pretty hard, right, to go up against a Dawnbreaker or Pakaz here. It's really got to be one of the supports that gets out of position.
That's the lane that's more likely to get a kill is the Sven versus Dawnbreaker lane. Because Whisper. With that said, Whisper now in trouble. He did throw back to
the
Ursa
spear.
a moment ago.
Nah, Prada's just too tanky. Like, they just don't have enough to take him down right now.
It's fine. It's just the nature of the lane. He'll use Decay a bunch. That's going to reduce Matthew's damage. That's actually a nice counter against the Mars 4 because he gets less God's Rebuke damage. But yeah, Whisper is just beating the shit out of Jim Park. He's been hitting him so many times so far. Just
I don't know why.
Situation.
Hearing him just being called Jim Park. Oh, Matthew needs to be a little bit careful though because he's taking a lot of tower shots. Does have the wand charges luckily, so he's gonna be able to stay alive. I thought that Prada might have been able to get himself a nice first blood.
Maybe he's a little short on mana at the time, I think. But Ring of Health is up for Ursa now. He's going to be much more able to deal with this. But Whisper is still wailing on him, dude.
He's top of the CS right now, 24 and 8. As
This
an
is kind of
off-lane
why
Rubik.
It's
Bottom lane,
weird for sure,
Pakaz? Oh, it's so close. 40-something hit points. They just don't have the damage against that Warcry.
Yeah, a little surprised he went back in there with no cooldowns, but he knows his limits, I guess.
He's
okay.
Pakaz.
Maybe Undyne dies top. It's got a nuke in 2.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yep, just cost him a little snack. Drank his mango really quickly. And gets the kill. And now he's got 1,000 gold, so that's going to be a Null Talisman, and he's got 700 gold on top of that. So this is actually pretty sick. This is the nicest thing, in my opinion, about these like int offlaners. You buy Arcane Boots often to spam the carry out, and then like the 4, the 4 is just so happy because now Mars is like, oh my core has an Arcane Boots. I get a free clarity every like 50 seconds. It's amazing. So they're just going to put a ton of damage into Jim Park here. So it's really good. He has Ring of Health. He's going to need it.
No, that's a really neat thing that you just brought up is the fact that, it takes supports usually so long to get arcane boots because they're not the ones CSing. So the fact that Whisper has these will not only, enable him to just spam out his own spells in lane, but it will also allow for Matthew to be even more effective. Does have those raindrops, though. Always a great pickup. A little bit of mana regen, definitely needed.
And the survivability, of course. He ended up not buying arcanes, by the way. He's instead saying, you know what? I'm going to get a Yule super
Leo?
fast.
I feel like that should not have happened. Oh, and the tip from Panda, like, good job, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big kill. That was a solo kill, too, right? We have Dota TV. Let's instant replay coming up here. 1 second.
Not clicking that button, it bugs out on me half the time.
He plays for the rune. He gets the rune. Or, sorry, he does not get the rune. And then he's able to chain stun Puck enough. All right, back to the live game.
Thanks,
nice
Weatherman.
No problem. Didn't get the rune, but... oh, sorry, he did actually afterwards. He bottled pace. So great for Chris Smile, and now he's got a whole level advantage over his opponent.
See you later, nerds.
Man, it's so hard for Ursa top lane to actually pressure them. Because every time he runs at them, he has to worry about getting Spear to Mars back, God's Rebuked back, or Lifted back. So this lane swap was just... or the role swap was just a really good idea.
They'll go and they'll drop the tombstone there, her top. Nice spear coming out from Matthew, but they have just so many... Oh, they still managed to get the kill out Parker! What? Matthew's still alive. Whisper, God, just trading hits with Prada. He's gonna have, he does have the magic turret, but oh, in comes Chris Luck. He says, oh, I'm gonna just come in here and get that last hit. I thought that was gonna be a Whisper kill again. I was like, oh my God, this guy's too good.
That was really nice. Just waiting for that moment for the Ursa to step up, and all of these right clicks really paid off. The fast Yules, it will be really effective on the hero. Part of the reason he's doing this is to defend himself. Yules is one of the best counters against Ursa because it removes overpower. If he's got Enrage going, it still keeps him in the air for the 2.5 seconds. So it's just so effective at limiting his impact. So if he's not only getting tons of last hits and denying him farm here, and also makes him useless in team fights, it just works really, really good. Decent against Puck as well. He can protect himself if he needs to with the Yules. And as long as the other lanes are going okay, this is going to be great.
Ooh, all right. C-Smile trying to get outside of that little bit of AoE, but oh, nice play here coming out from Matthew. The snowball buying enough time. The roll forward over onto Leo Snow. Chris Luck, is he going to be able to survive that one little click? No! He's actually still alive with 17 hit points. Oh my God. I thought for sure he was toast. Really good reaction coming out from the side of Evil Geniuses. Infinity, I thought, that was looking really good with the rotation from Frank. But at the last second.
It was well executed, but if Tusk wasn't as far ahead, I think they just get him. But he has a neutral item, he had a wand, he had raindrops, he's got phase boots finished. His tankiness is just a little bit too high there, so he ends up surviving. Really tough one there for Infinity. That's going to put them even farther behind, because now they're on cooldowns for a while. And with their safe lane not going well, Jim Park's going to run to the lane, but it's like there's only so much he can do here at the moment with just the phase and the Ring of Health. Whisper has still planted his butt in this lane. He's almost got the Yule Scepter. He's like 800 gold, 600 gold away from it. So looking real good for Evil Geniuses at the moment. Feels weird to say, but...
It doesn't feel right. Like, I keep wanting to call, like, I see Whisper and and I just, like, want to call them Beast Coast. Then I see the other guys, I want to call them Thunder. It's just...
Yeah, I was going to say Thunder for sure.
We'll get used to it. Well, we've been calling it Guashi's team because Neff and I were talking about that because Guashi is the manager of Evil Geniuses now.
Cool.
And we're just so used to, like, her being with Beast Coast that we just automatically default now. So, Evil Geniuses, yes. The big NA org coming down to South America, it's a big deal, but for a lot of us in the SA sphere, we've just been calling it Guashi's team.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look at the stack clearing going on now. Stacks have been managed by somebody. I was going to click to figure out who stacked them.
Oh, that's a good steal. He grabs himself the Enrage, too.
Yeah, this is the only This is the only downside. Like, the Enrage is a good steal, but what he really wants is some, like, 4 skill point nuke. He wants like Illusory Orb or Power Shot or something that'll give him like 2 powerful nukes that'll increase his farm speed and make him so much more of a threat. And Rage is fine for him not dying, so he's still accomplishing his job, but that would really put the Rubik in next level. So Yule's finished. He's just going to fly it out to himself, queuing up Boots of Travel. Like, he is so far ahead in net worth, actually. Look at him. He's above Ursa. So cool.
They do have to be careful. They are smoked up over on the side of Infinity. They're looking to make a play, and they do have that Dream Coil. So they'll open up over onto 2, drop the Tombstone. It's going to be the follow-up from Frank. So Whisper should end up falling here as they've already taken out Panda. But that is a 5-man rotation to the top lane. When while this is going on, Pakaz is just hitting all of those creeps.
See if Chris Smile can get a return kill. It's a little hard here when Ranger's got wind run, so he's got to time it right.
No, looks like he timed it pretty okay. And the follow-up now from Matthew with the arena, piercing Prada over to the wall. They will eventually get themselves a double kill for C-Smile.
Moxie, I forgot the Walrus Punch punches through evasion, and thus really didn't make that difficult at all. He just punched him. I forgot that they changed that years ago. Yeah, that really worked out nicely. It really makes the Wind Ranger kind of shit in my... if I'm not mistaken here on that, that just doesn't seem like a good hero against Tusk mid, because you're always going to be squishy. Like, this hero's survivability is about wind run, and that's what makes it abusive. But if he can just roll on him and kill her every time, I don't know if that's effective.
Whipples, is that you?
Whipples? Where?
Just the Wind Ranger is shit.
Oh yeah. No, I mean that's how.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I have not. Wind Ranger is a little weak for sure, but Slax is right in some ways about her lack of effectiveness. But good fight from Infinity either way with the Puck ulti. That is basically their combo. The downside is that that's like their only combo for a long time. So I think that's really going to hurt them if they don't make those work almost every time. I don't see how they stay close to EG in terms of gank potential and farm potential.
Oh, global silence pinning over onto Leo style. They even have the orb. Whisper's going to get himself yet another kill. And that should open up this mid lane tower for the side of Evil Geniuses.
Yep, they got the scary thing. They got 2 nukes on Rubik. So that's like 700 damage on a 10-second cooldown that they can apply. So if they just have disables with that, they've got kills.
Oh man, they're going in, trying to find Jenik and Frank. But they just cut down all the trees. I have to say, yeah, the did end up going for the Celestial Hammer. He had the Illusory Orb over on Whisper, and that's kind of like a nice double whammy, right? The fact that he's able to use the nuke, but also have that mobility. I feel like every Rubik loves having something that will allow him to move. Like the tree dance has always been the big one, right? Or the Shikuchi.
Yep, Sakuchi, exactly. That was what I was going to say. Mobility plus nuke is amazing. So yeah, Hammer being able to gap close and go in would be great. They're moving at the Ursa.
They have an arena for Parker if they want to use it. You have to back off a little bit. They've got the Dawnbreaker ultimate hopping in now. Frank stuck in the arena with Matthew, who is just going to walk away. Do they go back in? That's the question. You got the snowball onto the backlines from Chris Smiles. That's 2 down on the side of Infinity. They're looking for Frank. They'll pin him up against the tree. That's a double kill now for Pakaz. Just finished up that Echo Saber. And Jenik is going to be the only one who survives after showing up to the fight. But look at this. Look at how fast they're moving here to the mid lane. They want Leo style. They've got the Yules up into the air. Matthew is hunting on the backlines just in case he tries to go for that leap away. And they're just going to get a couple of these clicks off the pincer. Leo style trying to outplay them. Needs to be careful though. Chris Smile is back here if he decides to go for the orb. Matthew not on point with the spear. Tower will start to give the reveal. Follow up with the snowball. It's taking a lot to chase after this guy, and they don't have a lot of mana left over here on C-Smile. Goes for the Dream Coil. Whisper joining in. Gets another steal. He has the Dream Coil for himself, as Pakaz does end up dying during all of this. Eventually, the chase on Leo style will come to a conclusion, but they do end up losing Parker. Or sorry, Pakaz. Where did he die?
In the enemy tri-camp, like, bro.
Oh my god. Of course.
That's funny. They're just chasing him across the whole map, doing the right thing, killing the puck, and Pakaz is like farming greedy as hell. Probably cleared some stacks or something, but I mean, and it ultimately gets punished. So, doing what they need to do, still very far ahead, so it's fine because they've been coordinating their ganks really effectively. Keep in mind, Whisper did steal the Dream Coil, so he's going to use that for a gank right now, most likely, is what we'll see. So. More stacks coming. Panda gonna double stack the tri-camp. Pakaz will clean that up probably after. Even C-Smile stacking too. This is amazing. They're really focused on making sure that Pakaz can be insanely farmed here.
Meanwhile, on the side of Infinity, having a bit of a struggle. Do you have the Battle Fury completed now for Parker? So he's going to just try to farm up, try to maybe avoid some of these fights for the time being. I just worry that they're not going to allow him to have the time. I feel like this is a squad that moves so fast, especially when you consider you've got that Tusk mid, you've got Matthew as a position for Mars. And just the rest of the team is, look at this aggression. Again, right onto the back lines, they find Genik, they get the nuke, they go drop the Dream Coil over onto Prada. He does end up using the Tombstone to try to dissuade them, but their eyes are on this tower. They're not interested in following right now.
Yeah, once Tomb is down and the other hero is dead, they're like, okay, now we just take the tower, easy. They did a great job diving past. C-Smile basically just saw the power shot, knew about where the Wind Ranger would be, and he happened to blink directly on him. So that was just good read by C-Smile. 5-0-5 right now, doing great. Invis picked up. He's thinking about going aggressive, but there's a lot of sentries actually over here in the tri-camp that could spot him. So we'll see where they make the movement to. Instead, he's going to grab the regen rune. They don't spot a lot of heroes, but they've got one good deep ward in the enemy jungle, and they'll see if they can find somebody. But I don't think they'll be successful here. On the other side of the map, Pakaz working towards his BKB now. Needs about 3,000 gold to get there, but he's getting there at a good space. And Mars also, no blink yet. He's also going to go for a Yule Scepter, which is kind of cool. But it can work. You can Yules into Spear quite well. And I believe that oftentimes doesn't let your opponent react because the Spear will be in the air kind of a thing.
And that going for the wind run. They've already used the arena, pinning over to the side of the wall. And like you said, that walrus punch going right through the wind run. No problem. Whisper. He's got the Dream Coil. He's going to use it on Leo Style. Get another steal off. Global Silence is going to get used. The lift onto Leo Style, plus the snowball and the big hits. This time it's going to be Panda who gets the final hit.
Oh, the shards blocked Sven's blink in. So he's like, okay, go into farm. Or go into Roche, actually, is what they're going to do. Nice kill, though. Yeah, Whisper's been all over the place. Dream Coil, Global Silence. There's a lot of good things that they have against the Puck that's making his life really, really tough here. But picking up Roche with this advantage is nice. Power Shot is going to scout it out. We'll see if they go for the dive. Yep, Pakaz wants to try.
Of course he does. That's Pakaz. Hello, Prada. Chasing after him. Goodbye, Prada. He's going to hit some creeps, too.
Yeah, it would have taken them a while to kill Roche, actually. I think this is fine. Like, the respawns are up anyways. It's still early enough in the game where their opponents are coming back quickly. And their single target damage is not that incredible. It's basically just Sven, and him alone with God's Strength is frankly not enough. They need like an Exorcism, they need some minus armor, maybe a Deso, something like that would definitely improve their chances, but they do not have that yet. And also C-Smile going for the Blink Dagger, not going to go Falcon Blade or Deso instead. He knows that his team has enough damage. He just needs to be able to be the one that initiates and jump. So he's going to make up for the fact that they don't have a typical offlaner. And this is a nice little deviation of his path, I think.
I'm liking the combination. Like, again, this is just one game. But I'm noticing, like, with some of these South American teams, like, since they've had this reshuffle, it feels like yesterday I was saying, Beast Coast, I felt really good about the way that their players were moving now. Like, I felt that Dark Mago is a good mid to be paired up with Ector, because Ector just wants to farm generally. And then also the way that like Sacred was playing along with the supports. Have a little bit of a chase here on Leo Style. He's got himself a Haste Rune. Uses the Dream Coil. They have the Yules, but aren't going to opt to use it. Sven is coming around the corner. They'll be curious to see if he decides to... Nah, he should be fine. But yeah, since then, like, you know, just the way that the players' cohesion has looked even better with this new shuffle. And I would say the same thing now with this new version of EG. And some of that might be that the patch has changed a bit. You know, we are seeing a lot of this mid-tusk, which used to be, you know, the 9 special. But I feel like the way that this team is moving currently just makes a lot more sense as we do get that immediate opening. So Prada is going to evaporate. Whisper going for a little bit of a hunt here. Does have the shackle shot. If he wants to use it, we'll connect over onto Genik. So Smiles will go after Genik. That's another kill here for Whisper. And now Matthew just kiting, spearing away Parker. They use the punch. They're going to back off a little bit. Does have that BKB popped at this time. Shards, though, will prevent him from going underneath his own tower too closely as they're getting really aggressive because in comes Pakaz. He's got himself his own BKB. They have the arena. They've got the damage. There is no Ursa left on this map.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. I mean, his BKB lasted frickin' forever, and definitely protected him for a while, but there's just so much mobility on the EG side that they were super ready to dive that. Now, finally, Roche is definitely secured. Tag team as well will help here. Goodbye, Roshan. Ages for Pakaz will happen. Yules is up on Mars. Now they have 2 Yule Scepters to protect themselves against Ursa. So really, his only good window is during BKB when he can fight. So,
I think it might be going to C-Smile. He's got no, he moved to Ogre Axe. Okay.
I assume it's going to be Fakaz, but yeah, I guess Smile, that way he can play really aggressive.
No, it'll go to Pakaz.
Okay, they do the normal. They do a normal. Because I
just
think
saw
the
him.
reason... The nicest reason to leave it on Sven, actually, I don't really expect him to die in a team fight because I think they're going to make like perfect fight decisions. But if he gets ganked ever, if Infinity does like a 4 or 5 man smoke and like chain stuns because he doesn't get BKB off, it just will buy time for his team to get there, and then they can back him up. So that aspect of the Aegis, I think, is going to be really useful.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because there was a lot of just rotating with C Smile's inventory. So it was like, oh, maybe they're thinking about giving it to him because, you know, once that God Strength is down, Sven doesn't have quite the same toolkit. But like you said, those reasons make a lot of sense. Now Infinity pushed into this bottom area. Matthew is going to stand on the high ground. He's going to see Prada. Make his way over. Power shot will connect. So they do definitely have the vision.
Yeah, the Undying hasn't really felt super safe so far. Maybe it's just because they're behind, but he feels very killable coming from Tusk pressuring him and even Sven as well. Tombstone is good, but they have it seems like they just have an abundance of attack speed on the EG side, but it's probably just the fact that they're winning, frankly.
I feel like I've seen Prada play this hero quite a bit, so maybe this is comfort, but look at the way that Matthew is just running forward, is searching for a pickoff. It's going to be Prada. Luckily, they didn't grab... Oh, they grabbed Parker on the back line, though, as he is going to be forced to run. So right now, they're still putting the moves over onto Prada as they really want this kill. All right, nice shackle shot over onto Pakaz, but the global silence coming in. So they eventually lose Prada. Chris now needs to run. Is going to get Dream Coiled. He's got the BKB online. Going to use that pig pull to try to run himself away. So they do manage to force out the BKBs and not really achieve much over on the side of Evil Geniuses other than scare them away from their own area.
They taunted and killed the Undying, though, which is very important. I love this. This is so smart. They know exactly where the Ursa is going. They cross over. And JK, they want to kill him.
Forward, the jump onto Leo style. He's absolute toast. Shenek is forced to just run. And now Parker's like, well, I guess I can't go in my jungle now. They ping it, though. They want him, Matthew, looking for the opening. He does have the arena if they want to try to use it. The pin over to the side. They're going to try to lock him into place for as long as possible. Do they have the burst damage? Yes, they do. It's a double kill, even with that Dawnbreaker ulting. And now it looks like Frank is probably going to lose his life for this, as is Prada. Prada stuck inside over here. A good steal from Whisper will help to ensure that they get it. Oh, baby. That is 4 dead on the side of Infinity as Evil Geniuses just make their way over toward this mid tower.
Yeah, Matthew owned there, actually. The Yules onto the Ursa. He catches him in the tree. He lands the Spear of Mars, and then they just layered stuns all the way until he died. I guess the Shackle shot also caught him. Was Shackle first? I don't remember, but they layered stuns so well. Pakaz jumps in, didn't pop Mask of Madness, layered his stun as well. They just killed Ursa 100% to 0. He gets 0 spells off. And that's like the worst feeling when you're like, oh, I have to be worried about a Yules and like 8 seconds of stun. It does not feel good.
The setup from Matthew, the spear into the tree, the follow-up from Pakaz, and Chris says, I would like this kill, guys. That's mine.
And he steals Shackle Shot again. And he's got cooldown reduction on it now, so the cooldown is 9 seconds, 3.2 seconds stun. So Rubik is just very tanky, relatively tanky, very mobile for sure with his Blink Dagger, his Point Booster, his Yules. What is he buying here? Okay, Soul Booster into Octarine. So he didn't want the cast range just yet. He wants the raw HP, which is a smart way to play around it. But yeah, they are just kind of overwhelming their opponents. All of their heroes have the items they need to not worry about the fight. The BKB rush on Tusk after the Blink Dagger makes perfect sense to stop the Infinity combo, which again is Dream Coil to prevent Snowball, plus the Guardian, or the Solar Guardian. That's how he dies. So with BKB, he's just protected.
This has got to feel so bad because you've got a Rubik who's just on your butt the entire time. Nice arena will come out plus global silence. Chris Smiles has himself a double damage. He's going to try to fight back here against the Ursa. As now Frank coming forward. Gonna use the snowball to just disengage. Dream Coil's gonna get dropped over onto the back lines. A Yule setup though, getting into place. They have the Stormhammer. If they could just get close enough, if they could get this vision, as the Dawnbreaker is allowed to just teleport away. They still would love to get Leo style, but he's just going to keep going forward here in this top lane, and you're going to see Pakaz cutting through this just creep wave.
Very crucial.
Parker and Pakaz. It's driving me nuts in my brain.
That's hard, yeah. Very crucial that the Wind Ranger used Shackle Shot when she did the Genic. I don't know how to say it. Interrupted the Mars Spear from coming out the right time. Would have gotten the kill. Oh,
nice shackle from Whisper. I don't know if they have enough damage in place though right now. There's a lot of heroes here. Leostyle jumps in, but there it is. There's that cleave damage coming out from Bakaz. The shards will hold people in place. Now it is Prada and Frank trying to just climb away. Prada is going to be the one who gets left behind. So that'll be a little bit of int going over to the side of Panda on that silencer.
Yep, finally picked up the Glaives of Wisdom. They're just pressuring everywhere. It's so difficult for their opponents to find a moment to slow down here. They've got BKB and Ursa in about 12, ulti in 24. They could potentially fight here with BKB being on cooldown for a moment longer for C-Smile, but now they're just going to defend the smoke. Oh, if they can get a kill over here in the jungle, that'd be really good.
Okay, they do find Panda. Goodbye, Panda. They use a Dream Coil too, but there's nothing there.
Oh,
yeah,
Matthew just got a blink dagger, so he must have blink dodged it. As soon as he saw them, he got out. So.
Adios. That is a good time to use that one. Gotito. They want this Dawnbreaker. Yeah, there's the opening over onto Frank. He is just toast on the back line, so they get the pin over on Leostyle. They need to be able to lock him into place long enough as Bakaz is here, does have the BKB. He's trying to just fight this Ursa. Nice shackle, double shackle on both sides. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's not going to be enough to keep Bakaz alive. He is going to end up dying, as is Matthew. A good ultimate coming out from Dawnbreaker, and Chris smiles. Oh dear, he is also going to die. That is a triple kill now for Parker.
All right, let's take a look back at the instant replay here. Yeah, the double shackle was really huge. I thought it was going to be fine, but it was this buyback with double shackle that actually changed everything. Puck ends up using an illusory orb to get out. Pakaz did a bunch of damage. He broke the Ursa. It looked so good. And the double shackle looked like things were fine, but the fact that they were able to layer the Basher onto the Dawnbreaker ulti stun onto Pakaz meant he wasn't attacking for like 6 seconds there. And that's why they ended up losing that fight. Once he gets wiped out, that's basically it for him. He's their big damage dealer. So
I feel like
fight for them. They're still behind though.
I feel like you could make like a really like shitty meme out of that. Like, who would win? Like one big, you know, boy with the silver edge and blah 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 blah, or one tiny shackle boy. I don't know.
Your meme needs work, Monty.
I'm old, Kevin. Okay, I'm trying. Whisper, having that steal from the Dawnbreaker, will be able to just jump in immediately, join up, interrupt the Starbreaker on Devil. And, you know, he's tanky, and it's going to take some work. But it's still going to be a death. As over in the mid lane, Pakaz wandering through does see the rest of the team over on the side of Infinity. When they ping out, they know that somebody's wandering nearby, too.
They can smell Sven's perfume, just like your dog can smell your perfume cables. Very similar.
Disaster. Whisper going for the steal on Leostyle. The global silence locking Leostyle down. Chris Miles is having a monster game. I swear.
Ooh, nice. And they got the Abyssal killed as well. So no Abyssal on Ursa. He wasn't quite there anyways. It looks like he was just buying it early so he could finish it when it was ready. But a decent time to fight. I mean, that's a 1,500 gold recipe. They could definitely estimate that he's not going to have buyback as a result if they do want to go for this. What they really need on the Radiant team is a gem, though, maybe. They are dewardian right now. Yeah, there's the gem for Panda coming out. There's just so much good vision in the jungle. Now it's all dealt with. So this is where EG kind of like really puts their foot down on their opponents. Wherever you want that to be, I don't care. Viewer, you leave it up to your guys' creativity.
Look how scared they're playing on the side of Infinity. Like, they see him. They were just waiting so patiently. They're like, he's gonna show up. Janet going in with the shackle shot, but the arena getting put into place. The follow-up from Evil Geniuses, it's swift. So they'll use that snowball over onto Jim Park, and now Chris Miles forced to use the BKB to try to move away and try to kite this Ursa. Does have the Walrus punches. Now this is not looking good for Parker. Matthew getting himself a double kill.
Yeah, it's tough. He can't TP because there's the Walrus punch. Really big bummer. Yo, did you see that focus fire and how it did 0 damage? That's because Wind Ranger loses 30% from the focus fire. She loses, well, first she loses 30 from the Philosopher's Stones. That puts her to 60. Oof. Then she loses 30% from Focus Fire, and she was Fade Bolted, which lowered the damage by another 35. So she was actually doing like 5 damage in attack. Truly shameful Focus Fire. It's like actually not even worth using the mana.
That feels so bad. The setup here from Whisper, waiting to give Chris Smiles enough time to come over. Dear God.
They're so good. They're just all over the map, setting each other up like this. punches him mid telekinesis throw. Octarine's up on Rubik now, so he's ready to party big time. Pushes out the wave briefly, back to his team.
It makes me laugh to hear like South American players using PPD's line, considering the whole drama that used to happen between SA players and Peter.
For understandable reason, Peter just flamed the entire region. And,
Yup. Now look at this region. Look how powerful it's becoming. They've taken over evil geniuses.
That's true. Who won in the end?
Like, it's crazy, right? You know?
Free Shard, who gets it? Oh, the support gets it? Oh, that's so sick.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's great, really, if you think about it as a 4. Because as a 3, normally you're like, okay, there's this guy that I have to jump and fight. But the 4 can, like, play back and wait a little bit and be like, you have a shackle shot? I have a shackle shot. I'll stick 2 people to trees, dude. To jump in, stun 2 people with this, it's absolutely fight winning if he can catch 2 heroes with the spear. So the fact that he's got blink means it's completely a reality. It can.
I mean, Matthew has been so on point this entire game. Like, you look at the you know, Dota obviously is not about the scoreboard in terms of like kills and whatnot, but like you see the positioning coming out from these guys. You see the way that they're playing together, and it just is beautiful. Honestly, it's allowing them to take these great fights and then allowing them to go and take objectives immediately after with minimal damage and repercussions.
I think Infinity's been doing relatively good, frankly. It's just the lane setup with like the off-lane Rubik really put them into a weird place, and the Ursa hasn't been able to win his matchup like he necessarily wanted. So, yeah, they have some good signs, but Smoke's gonna break now probably in the mid lane. Jim Park was just hoping for a freebie. I mean, he's got overpower prepped, he's got Abyssal, he's got a DD. If they did find somebody, they don't quite catch Mars. They just
that was
kind of
interesting because they went for a smoke play and they thwarted their courier right over in the mid lane. They didn't have any indication as far as I could tell. They just felt like something was off. Otherwise, they would have been able to get a double damage over on Parker, but he's getting just kited as the force step forward over onto Matthew, going to keep him alive. Prado will just evaporate on the back lines. And again, the way they're handling this poor Ursa, he just cannot do anything. They have the Acceptor over onto Frank to come in with that heal, but it's not going to come in fast enough. It's not going to do enough when you consider this burst that's just coming out of evil geniuses as a lockdown Frank, even following up because Whisper has himself that ultimate. And they'll just waltz right down this mid lane. Whisper looking to see who we can get his hands on.
They're sprinting so fast at their opponents. I mean, it was a good idea with the DD and the Abyssal and the BKB. They needed to catch somebody, but unfortunately, when he blinked in and used used Earthshock, he wasn't quite in melee range of the Mars. Couldn't catch him with the Abyssal, and as a result, couldn't get that one easy kill at the start of the fight. If they manage to do that, maybe they can win the engagement, to be honest. Because really, they've gone the right items to potentially win this game. If they get a free pickoff, then they combo the Dawnbreaker ultimate to give evasion, 60% evasion against whoever Sven's going on. They definitely could win a fight, but they just couldn't quite catch him. EG's positioning was great. They were sitting at their tri-camp. They're sitting on their side of the river. They didn't get picked off, and now they just cleanly end the game. There'll be one more fight, though. Solar Guardian's ready, by the way. So first person that gets jumped on is getting Guardianed.
I was about to say, which one, though?
Well, only the Rubik's one is ready.
Right.
Because it has way less cooldown, 25% less from his talent, and he's got Octarine Core. So it's a 60-second ultimate over here. Doesn't have Ags, so it's not as effective, but still will be really
still
good
pretty
for
damn
getting him
effective.
on the map. Yeah, absolutely.
Still looking very, very good. So, you know, you mentioned this having... Is this our first Rubik in the off lane? Do you know? I don't think I've seen anyone else, but again, this...
Probably.
Common.
But genuinely, it makes sense. It's tanky, has high damage. It has the stats to function okay as an offlaner. It's just really slow is the only downside. His base movement speed is not fantastic, but he has made up for that. Is it 310? He's got 90 from BOTs. Am I missing something? Oh, he's got Yules as well. Yeah, he's 290. He's a slow. Definitely a slow support.
But he's got so many ways for his team to also just hold everyone in place and wait for him. And he's also got his own kits, right? Like, that's one thing I've really enjoyed with the itemization is that he can blink forward. He does have the Yules to set up, plus the lift. Oh, God. All right, well, there was an Undying there. Good Lord. All right.
He's got no armor.
Hunt over onto the back lines. Chris Luck, maybe he went just a little bit too far, but they have that glow coming right in from the Rubik. The Blink 4, they get the kill. They call GG off of that one little, well, I won't say a little engagement, but holy.
Yeah, so I think one of the issues in this game, I don't necessarily, like, the Wind Ranger was okay. Like, he played the hero well, he landed lots of shackles, but the hero's just not as effective as the support as others. And the Undyne, in a similar vein, I actually don't like his itemization in this game. He went from max heal in a goal to, like, potentially save his allies, which is fine or whatever. But then he went Locket afterwards. I think Locket was a mistake. It's common on Undyne to go it because it allows you to power some healing. But the reality is that he needs the front line for his team. If you look at that, this is the issue with their lineup primarily. Their initiator is Puck, basically. Puck vulnerable to global silence, vulnerable to chain stun. So EG has these great counters. So Puck can't frontline very well unless he gets like a Yules or an Aeon Disc or these items that he doesn't want to buy. And Dawnbreaker doesn't want to frontline because Dawnbreaker's trying to ulti on people. So then this leaves Undyne as your frontliner. And Undyne bought a Holy Locket, which helps you heal. He just needed some armor, genuinely. He needed armor so that he could help survive the, oh, Tusk found me burst. All game that kind of plagued him, he would just get killed immediately. Obviously, it's really hard to react when you're behind on net worth. But if he goes like a mech or even just like a chainmail into something else, his survivability would be better. And he'd better be able to like survive that burst, pop ulti, get tombstone down, have vision, and then maybe his team wins a fight. Even if he goes different items, they're still going to lose this game. But that's one thing I would point out for sure.
I was going to say, it felt like both of the support choices were a little bit underwhelming for the side of Infinity, because you mentioned, like, you know, Prada should get something that's armor-based, but I was like, you know, he's a position 5, which makes getting that stuff, like, a little bit difficult, especially if you're starting to fall behind, because the top lane was really, really difficult. It was the Ursa and the Undying, which are 2 melee, and generally, you know, Undying should be able to bully quite a bit, but it just, it didn't feel like he was in control of that. And then with the Wind Ranger, you mentioned, you know, there's so many ways that, like, she's just not doing damage. She's doing 5 damage each time she hits at one point, and it just felt like, I felt like that it was a big, just more like a draft issue more than anything else, in terms of like some of these supports and what they wanted to do versus what they did do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, repeatedly shackling your opponent's excellent. Like, it has a lot of impact. It definitely can make a difference, but the problem is that it just doesn't add damage. So their draft just had issues. Like, if it was Mars offlane, I think Infinity does better. Decay is amazing against the offlane Mars. He gets reduced damage. His God's Rebuke does less damage. He can't CS as well. That would have been fine. But because they did that little hero swap where they do offlane Rubik instead, and then the Mars' support, Decay doesn't feel as good. Ursa gets pressured a lot by the core Rubik. And then they ran into those issues in the mid game where initiating was kind of hard. They had that great combo with the Dream Coil into Donald to make kill the guy thing. That was really solid. If they had not lost mid as bad and they'd killed Chris Smile the time that they tried to combo him and they failed, he was just a little bit survivable. If that was more successful and they keep the net worth close, maybe their lineup looks fine. But at its core, like, the pieces didn't quite fit together outside of that combo. So as soon as they got BKB on the EG side, I felt like it was just hard for them to fight. Abyssal gave them another option, but again, they just didn't get their opponents because EG was better and avoided it. So, I don't know, really good match though, fun to watch, interesting aspects of it. I don't think we'll see Wind Ranger first phase next game. I just don't think it's that good.
I think it was a comfort pick. I think that was one of the reasons why they picked it up, to be perfectly honest. I believe Prada and Genic both play those heroes quite a bit.
It also could have been their plan for a setup later, that like late game they're like, oh, well, we'll blink shackle a guy and then we'll hit him with the Dawnbreaker ulti. It could be something like that as well. Or I blink shackle, Ursa jumps and kills that guy. You know, that could be their idea as well, but his survivability took time to get online. I mean, his net worth was only 7,000 gold at the end of the game. He was I was going to say the lowest net worth. That's not true. That was Undying. Undying, very, very underfarmed.
He just can do much, like, after a certain point. That's kind of a feast or famine hero, it feels like. You have to get online earlier.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't necessarily say feast or famine, but it's more like he had to frontline for his team and he was too squishy because they were behind on net worth. His neutral item was a tumbler toy. I don't necessarily like that either. I feel like there was probably some item that gave him HP or armor. I think that was probably more important, but ultimately EG just better team and they did better in the draft, so that's what happens.
Sometimes it's like that. And again, a lot of people were expecting, I know, I'm not sure what your chat's predictions looked like, but mine was overwhelmingly going over to the side of Evil Geniuses. I think I had like 2 people that might have gone for Infinity. Shout out to those people who believe in Infinity, though, you know? Try to keep some balance.
They were trying to gamble successfully. How do I close my prediction?
I think it automatically closed after a certain point.
It does not. You have somebody has to. Some mod always does it. You have to
Oh,
like.
okay.
You have to go in and like, unless some mod did it for me. Did someone do it
Oh,
already?
okay. Here we go. Choose outcome.
Did somebody do it
Who
already?
will win? So I had 68% going to Evil Geniuses and 32% going to Infinity.
Ooh, bad choice.
So the winner was
I think Gabba did it.
EG. Are you sure EG is the correct outcome? Once you choose this outcome,
I can close
what?
it myself. Mods can't.
There we go.
Where do I do?
I don't even know if I have any mods in chat right now. Shout out to my chat for being very non-toxic and well-behaved. And now because I said that, probably someone's gonna write butts or something. But you know, it's what I'd expect from my chat.
Let's try this.
I did just close
Okay.
it though.
If a streamer starts it, mods can't end it. Okay. Oh, I see. I just type /prediction again. Choose outcome. Evil Geniuses won. Complete prediction.
My chat's just all writing butts now. Oh, I love you guys. Thanks for being awesome.
Okay, cool. That was nice. Feels good to cast again. God, it's been actually so fucking long since I last casted.
I know,
had, like,
I know. I was doing
anxiety.
it
I was like, dude, I
yesterday.
haven't casted in months. Ugh. But it comes back.
It does. It does, absolutely. Let's see. Is the next match up yet? It says watch live. Not sure how long this has been up, but well, while this is going on, I'm going to grab a little bit of more tea. So I will be right back, sir.
Okay.
All right. I'm back. I've got a fresh cup of tea. The dog hasn't destroyed anything. It's always a good sign. Need to adjust my green screen. All right.
There's only an hour left of the battle pass.
Oh
Is
no,
there
I
anything
didn't
you're
get
gonna miss?
the Crystal Maiden Arcana. I was
I
really
actually
close
had that
to
plan
it.
too. Oh, the Arcana. Oh, the Persona, you mean?
The Persona, sorry. Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
okay.
I think like 10 levels off or something, and I was like, ah, I'm not gonna make it in time, am I? But I'm also like, part of me is like, my glance value. Like, I'm looking at the lineups in some of these games now, and I'm like, who the hell? Like, if I was joining into this game, like,
Yeah.
fresh, I would not know who these heroes are. I'd be like, that's Crystal Maiden, but that's a dog. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. That one went a little far for me.
Yeah, I haven't even used it, but it's very popular. Almost everybody plays with it, I feel like. That plays CM. But maybe that's why. I kind
I
of
don't
wanted to
know.
get the third cosmetic for her from the cavern crawl. I did mean to, but I didn't stream the last 2 days, I think. So I needed like 3 more things. I probably could have done it in one play session because I can win on support pretty reliably, but Oh well.
What's the third Arcana? Which one is
Uh,
that? Because
the
I got
it,
the
it's
first
like
two styles on the first half of the cavern
yeah,
crawl.
it's more. It's kind of like a little bit more blue in the head instead of purple. It's kind
Mhm.
of like the first one, but has a like a purple haze on it, I guess.
See, I
Like
like my Crystal
dark
Maiden
crystal maiden or
already,
something.
so like I
Yeah, me
don't want
too.
to change anything. Like I've got the Viking headdress from like one of
That
the I think it was like one of the
that was
dream
cool.
hacks, and then she's got the Arcana body with the glowy staff, the one that's got the big like snow globe on top.
The immortal.
Yeah, I've like
Yeah,
mixed her up exact, and I love that I've been able to change my particle effects onto different items too. So like she's fully kitted. I don't want to
yeah,
change anything about her.
I agree with this. Actually, I think I dropped. What did I drop? I dropped some set of hers that was kind of cool. I think I got the Viking one. Yeah, I think I actually bought that with candy when I finally spent all my candy. That helmet is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Which was tough because there was the Euslaria's glacier or whatever, which was like
The
her the
immortal.
crown that put the big particle effect on the ground, but now I can
Uh
switch it
huh.
out. So
Exactly. That's what's so nice. Yeah, I also I used to have like a crystal maiden head that I liked,
mhm.
and I it had like a bunch of like gems and shit in it. But I eventually just like took the gems out and sold it because I was like, well, I want to use the immortal, and now I'm like, fuck, I should have sold it. Should have just kept it. Yeah, the Viking helmet does look nice, and her eyes turn godly.
Yeah, she looks very cool. She looks like a Valkyrie.
I should change
Man, it
skins
feels
too.
weird to not be in Sweden, right? After how many how many times
It
of being
does,
there for
yeah.
DPC?
Yeah,
What
it
do
would
you
have been
miss from
fun.
Sweden?
What do I miss? People bringing food to me was pretty sick. That was nice. Mostly the socialization. Like, I know you didn't go with us or didn't have a chance to when we were there, but we would go like to the gym together and go to yoga and definitely socialization aspect I miss. It's like the nicest thing about this line of work, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if you feel similar, but that like you get to go to work and then your friends are all there, so it's like you're working with your friends most of the time.
That
I
is
think
like one of
that's
the coolest things, yeah.
yeah, I think so too.
I made
I
Jenkins
bet.
go to the gym with me once.
Oh yeah.
So I would go to the gym, but because I was on night shift when I was out there, um, like everyone would go
Mm.
like at like 9 a.m. in the morning or like earlier than that. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm still sleeping because I don't get back until 5 a.m. So like
Yeah.
Jenkins moved onto the night shift with me and Neil. And I was like, Jenkins, let's go to the gym. And so like he went with me and he was doing lifting and stuff and I was doing my cardio. And like I do like, 30, 45 minutes of just running on like a treadmill. Like I really enjoy it. I listen to some music or I watch really bad anime or something.
Mhm.
And then Jenkins comes over and he's like, oh, time for some cardio, eh? And I was like, yeah. And then I shit you not, he just turns it up as fast as possible and just starts running like a fucking madman. And I'm like,
That
that
sounds
can't
yeah,
be
that
good
sounds
for
like him.
you. Like, you should warm up and, like, get into the swing of it. And then, and he's like, no, no, this way I get it all done at once. I do like 10 minutes of just running as fast as I possibly can. I'm like, you're going to have a heart attack and die. Oh my
Does sound a
God.
little bit iffy for sure. That's a Jenkins joke for sure. That's a classic one, and
Hmm.
just trying to get his heart rate up, I guess, burn as many calories as possible.
Yeah, he just, oh man, it was very funny, especially because all the Swedish people just turned and looked at him like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that gym was small too. I mean, we're in Stockholm, so like everything's kind of cramped. Not
Yeah.
everything, but some things are cramped, especially a gym. There was like there was, in my opinion, too many people per square foot, where it was like I
Mhm.
always felt like I was in somebody's way, and that's not fun at the gym. I feel.
No one was ever doing cardio when I would go, so.
Mm,
But yeah, no, I miss that. It was fun. Like we started to like go out a little bit, which was super
true.
super cool. Like we went to that big old boat museum
Yeah, boat museum
and
was cool.
Old
I'm glad we went
Town.
to that.
Like I was so disappointed that like everyone started going out after I left. Like that really
Yeah,
sucked.
it takes time to like for people to feel like doing it. It's like at first you're getting like settled, and then you're like getting used to the work schedule, and then like eventually people start getting a little bit bored, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm kind of used to this. I want to do something," And that's when everyone starts going out usually, or it takes time for someone to organize something social, and then it includes like other people. So if you're only there the first half, you were first half usually, right?
I was always only there for the first half, and then Shannon came
that's
in.
the issue. But at least we got to make that video bit where I beat the shit out of you. Remember that one?
Oh, God.
Remember that when I
I remember that.
I wailed on you with like a inflatable thing for literally 10 minutes until your nail broke and I won. It's like, hell
That's
yeah.
the only reason you won. Like, that whole video was just Kevin just trying to knock me off the platform, and I don't know. I have a good center of balance if I'm not moving.
You have a low center of gravity because you're shorter, so like in your balance was good. So I'm just like wailing on you, trying to get you off balance. It just doesn't work. Well, I'm glad they edited it normally because I beat her for like 10 minutes with that thing, just beating. I didn't want to hit her in the face. I didn't want to hit her in the chest or anything, so I was just like wailing on her legs and her arms, like trying to get her off balance. Because I definitely wanted to win. I like winning too much. So.
Oh, I know. That's like, you're very competitive. But it was funny because like you said, I wasn't budging, and I have like no upper body strength. So like I couldn't knock him over either. It was just a perpetual like purgatory of nothing is happening.
Okay. So we were on this inflatable thing, and we put a board across the middle, and we both had to sit on the board. And whoever knocked off the other person first with these big inflatable tubes, it was kind of like gladiator type stuff. That person wins. So to try to get her off balance, I was bouncing up and down to get the board to shake, and because we were both sitting on the same board, and then I would hit her with the big inflatable thing to try to get her to fall off. And it worked. It didn't work. I just beat her so long that I eventually broke her nail, and then that's how I won.
I was hoping he would just exhaust himself. That was the entire plan right there. Was just to get him to get tired and or knock himself off from your bouncing up and down. That was the plan. It didn't work.
It was a little bit harder to balance that way, but all right, I'm gonna try to find a link to the video. I know I posted on Twitter.
It was super fun though, like the red buttons that we got to do that season. That and the sumo wrestling, and just watching like Cap just losing his mind, like going after people. I still remember we were walking back from one of the we were walking back because Cap was my next door neighbor when we were in Sweden. And I was like, wow, you really went ham on that second challenge. He's like, yeah, I was thinking about this. I was like, I'm a former military person. I can't let these guys beat me.
And then
he's like, I should have just wiped the floor on Kevin.
He should have. He was giving me like the creepiest look, dude. He was like looking me in the eye and like smiling, like I'm playing with my food kind of shit. And then I beat him.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes.
That would have been. Oh man, that was a lot of fun. I miss you guys so much. I miss all of y'all. I miss Mira too. Like having a little sister was fun. I miss Jenkins eating random things that he finds.
I'm struggling to find it. I feel like I probably retweeted it, but I didn't like tweet it and attach. I guess it's not going to be in the media tab, huh? It's going to be.
It's a link probably, because it was on YouTube. Well, you can always put it in your Discord or your chat later after.
There is a game happening right now.
There is, and we do have some different picks.
I should stop looking. Oh, predictions again. Yes.
Oh, predictions. That's a good point.
Did I type it wrong? Prediction.
Start prediction. Who will win based on Game 2 draft?
Start prediction. Oh, I should have done longer.
Submission period, 5 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes this time since we're starting right at the beginning of the draft.
I did 2 minutes.
Well, mine is based off of the draft, so. Rocker Gage, the more I hear about Dota 2 talent, the more I believe they should be committed. Nah, man, you don't just have fun with your friends and do, like, wacky stuff. Like, granted, we're really lucky because we have tournament organizers who are like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's film that. We'll prepare everything and we'll film you guys being crazy people.
It's also that most of us have, like, charisma or some entertainment value, too. So it's, like, it's more, like, distilled, right? Like, if you grab, like, 5 average people, it'll be fine. Maybe there'll be, like, some special people. But, like, almost all the Dota talent are, like, they know how to be at least a little entertaining. And
wow, way to shit on 5 average people, Kevin.
5 average people are not entertaining. It's a damn fact. Sorry. So I mean, and a lot of it is like Slacks, Jenkins type people. They're just really fun to be around because they're funny people. So yeah, Yeah, it's a good time. It's definitely a good time. Would you like to talk about Dopa 2?
Dopa or Dota?
Dota, whatever. Who cares?
We have a Frank the Tank Tidehunter that is very much prominent, big, thick boy here on the screen, and a Hoodwink, which I believe is another Genic comfort hero. I feel like a lot of fours play this hero, though, now, because it was so
They
good.
do.
And
I'm
then,
surprised. They keep picking him in the first phase. I wonder if his hero pool is just limited or something, and that's why they're slapping his hero down quick. But this is a better archer than the other archer, for sure.
is it because one of them has a tail?
One of them does damage at all phases of the game, and they both have AoE stuns. Like Hoodwink is just without a doubt a better support, way more reliable, multi-purposed, etc., etc. Ban's first phase, reminiscent of the last game, similar. Ban out the Rubik, get that out there. Lena's still gone. They banned the TA again, so that they didn't have to deal with that. The Snapfire, maybe because they were expecting the Mars pick again, and Snapfire Mars is quite good, but a little surprised to see it. It also could reflect that maybe they were trying to remove a Undying counter if they're worried about protecting Tomb, but so far doesn't seem to be the case. Just pretty reasonable openings. EG likes the Silencer, covers a lot of their bases, strong support. Global Silence when used in coordination with your team against your opponents means you probably win fights. You have better coordination than your opponents, and abusing that is great.
Well, you have to realize, too, these guys definitely scrim against each other. So I'm sure there are certain things that they don't want to see on the board, like that TA. The Rubik last game, absolutely wrecking. Lena has just been incredibly strong. So perhaps that's why we're seeing very targeted bans. The Undying pickup, though, this time on the side of Evil Geniuses. This is interesting to me. This feels like a little, I don't say a slap in the face, but kind of like, oh, you want to see how Undying's played? We'll show you how it's done.
Yeah, it's just we want to play Undying against Tidehunter, probably. It's a very good lane stabilizer. Any strength hero is going to struggle against it a bit. Anchor Smash damage will be reduced as well, so you're reducing his base damage and his spell damage, basically. So that's probably what it is, that they can pressure. They can still be flexible with their heroes, of course. This could be Undying 3. You never really know if they do want to do that as well. But Ember Spirit will be the pick. He can protect himself with items pretty easily against the Silencer. Yule's is likely going to be in the cards at some point, or BKB for sure. And then it's easier for him to like frontline and set up disables against the opponents to make it harder for EG to get a good team fight beginning. And he can also escape. So if he's got a Remnant down, yeah, he has to worry about like Mars ulti, but he can get out of Mars ulti. Once Silencer's ulti ends, he can jump out of that as well. And he can get away from Tombstone. So I feel like Ember can kind of just play his game however he wants this game. Which makes
it feels like
pick.
kind
Good
of an early
Hoodwink
Ember
too.
pick, though. Like, that's my only concern, is because, he is a hero that's really dependent upon being able to be flexible and move about.
Yeah,
And they
that's
do
reasonable.
have other options still in the pool that will allow them to, really limit his maneuverability. Even just the Silencer alone, like we said. Oh boy. Oh, this is Chris Luck's favorite hero, so he's got to be super amped to be playing this.
Yeah, it's definitely good against Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit comes up as a melee hero to hit creeps. Shadow Fiend raises him, lowers his movement speed, his turn speed, all that annoying stuff. Gives them a huge amount of damage, which will help compensate a bit for the Undying. Their team fight on both sides is really strong, but I think EG's looks stronger. Global Silence, Mars ulti, Tombstone, plus Shadow Fiend. It's like all this like disable and frontline to make Shadow Fiend's game just straight up a lot easier. And SF against Disruptor and Hoodwink looks pretty solid once he gets BKB. He doesn't have to worry about that very much. But pre-BKB, he's got to be a bit careful. Ravage into like Disruptor ulti or Ember combos with Disruptor is a bit spooky. Glimpse is also pretty effective against the semi-squishy heroes on the EG side, like Undying, Shadow Fiend, Silencer. If they're by themselves, all very vulnerable. So if they can find a moment to outmaneuver their opponents and pull them back with Glimpse, that could give them good teamfight opportunities on the Infinity side.
Yeah, I definitely Prada Disruptor is another one of his favorite heroes that I've seen him play quite a bit of. This is a nice little way of adding a bit of catch pre-BKBs for a lot of these guys. Or, you get that Mars Arena, you can just go drop the Disruptor ulti down on it, make them, force them either to BKB or force them to back out. Definitely like this pickup. The only thing that I'm worried about with Infinity, I guess the same thing with Evil Geniuses though now, it's very telegraphed as for who's going where. There's no really guessing for either of them this time around. Whereas in the previous game, we were kind of like, oh, is this going to be, a mid or, I mean, there's still that slight possibility that they might keep Matthew on the Mars. They might put Whisper on Silencer. I know they run that in the off lane occasionally. I don't know exactly, though. So there is a little bit of that flexibility. But Infinity, very telegraphed. Prada's going to be playing this Disruptor. Janek will be playing the Hoodwinks. Frank on Tide. And Leo Style most certainly on the Ember. They could opt for something else, but I don't think that's a Parker. Yeah, this is definitely the Parker hero, is the Terrorblade. So
okay. It's a pretty good TB game. The Illusion of Shadow Fiend is very strong, minus armor stuff. He's individually good at hitting Tombstone. Illusions and stuff can move around split push lanes if they want to avoid team fights, so that part's really solid. He's definitely burstable, but as long as his team backs him up a little bit, he can be in a decent place. Will he lane well, though? I guess he lanes well against Mars. Shield Crash doesn't do that much damage because his armor's high. He's got to worry about getting stunned. He's got to worry about Global Silence. So there's some problems, but I think it's a pretty good pick. And it definitely can range out DPS the Shadow Fiend. So in mid-game situations where they both have BKB, TB's can be happy. Especially once he gets like Scotty, he'll control SF really effectively. So I like the TB pick quite a bit. I think it's really solid here. It fits.
I think the maneuverability during the early laning to like mid game is pretty strong too, coming out from Infinity, because you do have two methods of being able to catch or latch, hold people in place. Just with the supports alone, not even including the Searing Chains. You've got the Tide Hunter that'll be a big chess piece on the board, kind of keeping you from, initiating into these fights before you're early or you're ready enough because of that threat of Ravage. I think it's a little bit scarier for the side of Evil Geniuses just because you don't have that hard lockdown, right? Currently, with the Silencer, with the Undying, they do a decent amount of like early damage to help, control the lane. Oh, man. All right. Let's see how this goes. Who's going where? What's going what? I'm very excited about this.
Probably carry Shadow Fiend, Lesh mid is my assumption. But it could also be like Lesh carry SF mid. That would
Whisper
be
Mars. Okay. All right. They're going to put Matthew on the Silencer.
Yeah, I mean, putting Undying against the Tide makes sense. It'll be Lesh mid and SF safe lane, yeah. Lesh is good because he'll basically clear out the illusions really, really effectively. Once he gets BKB, he can just run at his opponents. One of the things Infinity's missing, they don't have good single target damage in the mid game outside of like TB Metamorphosis, and maybe once Ember gets like an item or two. So their damage is still kind of limited this game, similar to last game. It's better, definitely, and they've got really good lockdown and they've got really solid team fight, but maybe it's a bit harder. Leshrac against Disruptor looks a little scary. Him getting glimpse back is a big problem, but I think the draft on EG is better for sure. They've got the Undying versus Tidehunter matchup. Mars is going to be fine against TB. The shield against TB later on can be really effective too. I think they're in a good spot as long as Pakaz has a decent lane, and he should because he's protected by Undying. I think EG will be in a good spot.
Man, I was hoping for some real weird shit coming out from Evil Geniuses because like 4 of those heroes could have gone to Whisper depending how they wanted to play, or like you could like move everything. Obviously SF would be safe lane at that point, but I was like, man, are we gonna get like a weird ass like Whisper Leshrac or Whisper Silencer, and then they're gonna move it? Like I got super amped. I still like this draft, obviously, and this is very much a 4 protect one coming out from the side of Infinity, which is a little scary, just because of the way that Evil Geniuses has been showing up in the first game. They're just moving so quickly. I'm not sure they're gonna have enough time or be able to protect enough, but I'm all for some entertaining Dota, and I like the fact that we're seeing some different picks coming around. Someone in chat mentioned they're like, man, SA always has like such different meta than a lot of the other regions. I love these sprays that Guashi made that they're just spraying all over the ground.
What does the EG one translate to? This one, they have talent and Fault Up Halo. What is Fault Up Halo?
Fault Up Halo. I looked this up and I don't remember it now, but I know that they're all like anime based.
Okay.
Like there's one that's a Naruto where the ping is the training weights coming off. Like I like that a lot.
Okay.
I forget the one behind this. I'm sure someone in chat will mention it for us.
SF not realizing just yet the whole team is here.
Yeah, Pakaz is going to die here.
You got pretty good damage
stealth
at least. Got the three rays on the Hoodwink. I mean, he needed to get some regen to offset his initial trouble. Huh?
That's so mean. Lots of talent, but like lack of hair.
Oh. Nice. Palo is here. Yeah. I thought it meant like their hair looks nice or something. I don't know.
No, it's a jab. That's so funny. That's a One Punch Man reference. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I could tell the art was like that, but. So Infinity's winning right now, absolutely dumpstering EG. Big net worth advantage. Good luck winning this one. Pakaz is going to cowards walk through the trees with his quelling blade. This is one way to get back to the bot lane without teleporting.
I mean, I'd be scared too. Like, they have a ward in place already. They really want to just shut down Pakaz. And you can see on the flip side of things, you know, EG's already taking out one of those range creeps. They're gonna immediately teleport Panda down though, get the double decay. But already, look at this, because he's not even fully in the lane yet. He has no regen.
Yeah.
Other than the mango regen that he'll get.
It's very common for players to do this, to not buy a tango right away and then let it come out. But if you do pressure him before it gets there, it puts him in this dangerous situation where his HP is genuinely just a little bit too low. So that's tough for him, but he'll be fine probably. Now that Undying is able to stabilize and the other support left too. So.
Yeah, he picked up a set of tangos to get that regen online. So what does Infinity have to do, right? So it's become like a very strong 4 protect 1. How do they ensure that they set up, you know, that they can go toe-to-toe with EG for this?
Much like last game, they need to make sure that their team fights synergize well. You know, use your abilities together and turn that into some important kills on crucial heroes. That's important. Delaying the Bloodstone and the Leshrac would be really helpful if they can do that. So pressuring C Smile either by denying runes or ganking him, I think, is a good way to mitigate things a bit. And then if Tidehunter has a decent lane here, he can basically just sit his butt in the lane and continue to pressure and take the tower for free. So maybe pressure C Smile. Hopefully Tide takes his tower for free. And then turn that into like team fights in the mid game. I think would be really good.
I feel like Frank is one of those heroes, like, again, you have to be careful with the Undying, but can just, you know, park himself down here. He's going to take a lot of harass, but once he gets a couple levels online, it's going to be pretty hard to kill him. And I would like to see a lot of rune control, honestly. I want to see a lot of that. Top lane, Whisper is taking a lot of harass from Prada, and he's already got a point in that glimpse, so it's looking like they're going to get the kill, but, oh, okay, they have just enough stick charges here. So they don't end up losing Parker. That looked a little scary for half a second.
Yeah, Jim Park had more than enough damage, I guess, to kill him. But it looked close. I thought he was going to wait until after the hit and won, so he thought he was not going to die there. He gets blown up. So a little tough for them. That's 2 deaths now. Infinity absolutely stomping EG. No kills in response yet. In absolute shambles. But as long as TB keeps regenning here with his super high armor, he's pretty survivable. He has to worry about the silencer nukes a little bit, but that's about it. Meta's down for 100. That hurts, I suppose. So no kill potential response, but they're doing a-okay. Panda bottom.
Panda. Yep. Panda's gonna die there.
Acorn shot's very good early. 50 bonus damage. It bounced on him twice, bouncing to the SF and back. So huge amount of damage there. Kennex gonna have to stun to run away. He goes for the courier. That's gonna hurt. That might be his death now. I don't think that was worth it. Because now he's gonna get triple raised and ran down.
He wants that rune so bad. Oh, bounty rune. Matthew does end up dying in the top lane. But oh, okay. And there's a return kill over on Prada, so it's gonna be a trade on the supports in the top lane. Couriers are just dying left and right here. My goodness.
They are. They do like it in the gold. Wraithband picked up for SF to keep him survivable in case he gets gone on by the Tidehunter, the minus armor. Mid lane is looking stupid even. They're both equal on last hits, and because there's been so much fighting in these side lanes, TB in trouble top, by the way.
Yep, he
Just
is
gets ran down.
absolutely toast.
Must have gotten him with a spear at the start of this engagement, and then just ran him down with nukes. Pretty simple stuff.
Oh man, look at Prada. He's got too much stuff to hold. It's very rare that you see the position 5 in that position. Runes are going to be spawning here. Got the water rune over on C Smile, and I do like this. Matthew goes, rotates, make sure that Leostow cannot refill that bottle unless somebody TPs over. Even going for the bounty rune too. These are the moves I would have liked to have seen Infinity make, not EG.
I'm thrown off because I do not know their player names very well. So when you said Prada, I just started rapidly clicking across the entire map to try to find where Prada was. Did not work out in time, and I just managed to embarrass myself. But we're good now. Eventually, I found.
Don't worry. They change their names like all the time too. Like Schofield was Gojira for a bit. They went back to being Schofield. Chris is now C Smile, and I go Chris Smile half the time too. Like, I'll try to. I can try to use the hero name if that's a little better. Or actually, no,
No,
Kevin, you
just
need
stick
to
with it. This is
learn.
my
You
fault.
need to
This is
learn.
my fault, yes. Do not accommodate my badness.
Rotation over to the mid lane, though. They want to try to put some pressure on C Smile. They've got the Acorn shot and the Bushwhack at the ready. Silencer also coming down, though, Matthew. Feeling like something must be happening. Leo Style having to be a bit careful. It's not got much mana. It does have 8 stick charges. Another slide off.
Ooh, almost. Good
Yeah,
try to
just...
stun in the mid lane, but he walked away. Just simply
Top
walked
lane, though,
away.
Whisper. Yeah, he was very vulnerable since Matthew made that rotation. So this is good, though. I like the way that Infinity is recognizing, like, okay, we're going to back off. And while we back off, we realize that this is an opening for us to try to make a move. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I don't know if they read that Silencer was there or guessed or said, screw it, we're just going to go on him. But good go if they keep getting these kills. Jim Park 1-1 and 3 now. He's got his power treads finished. Smeta's going to be gone, but you know, decent laning for him so far. And Whisper puts a sentry down thinking like, okay, they must have seen Panda or Matthew leaving the lane. That's why they went on me. But no word. They just, they read it or guessed or gave it a shot and it worked.
All right, well, right now, Leo Style leading the top of the CS charts, 38 and 10, followed by 36 and 9 on SF, as they are putting some pressure over here onto Frank. Another courier is going to die. And this is nice bushwhack from Jenik.
Yeah, that was good. Very needed. Devil is killable here. He's got Kraken Shell, so that can dispel the Shadow Ray stack, so he's not the most vulnerable to Shadow Fiend
Top
here,
lane.
but he has to be a bit careful.
Prada the Disruptor is does end up falling, as now there is a little bit of pressure being returned over onto Matthew, because they do have the teleport from Jenik. Just looking to see if he can find anyone nearby. It's just Whisper for the most part. Bushwhack landing over onto Matthew. Parker, though, is forced to flee. It's doing a little bit of that tick damage. Should be able to survive this unless Whisper... He goes for it. He wants it underneath the tower. That's a dead Terrorblade. Definitely worth it. Plus another TP coming out from Disruptor. They can't quite get their hands on Whisper. They might be able to get their hands on Matthew. In fact, that damage should be more than enough. So they'll trade, but they do end up losing the position 1 top lane.
Yeah, that was really close. Matthew turned around and used Curse of the Silent the moment before he summoned a new illusion, so he took extra damage from the penalty there from the Arcane Curse. So that worked him down. Yeah, Whisper knowing his limits here. 4-2 and 0 now on his offlane Mars. Just high damage, high strength, all this stuff.
Well, Leo Style trying to cancel out that bottle. Oh, there was still ended up getting the bottle. Gets Tango too from Matthew.
Very needed, yeah. He's just getting harassed down by Sleight of Fist, basically. Sleight of Fist or Corrosion. But look at this rotation now, going towards SF.
Great.
Perfect timing. They don't
Because
have Searing
having
Chains,
to hightail
though.
it out. They need that Bushwhack. Gonna go for it. Does end up connecting. There's nobody here to protect Bakas. He's just gonna end up getting chased down here by Leo Style. I'm surprised that we're not seeing any sort of rotation. I guess while this is going on, Prada is getting chased down, but this is your position 1 Evil Geniuses. You don't want to lose him.
Oh.
What?
He tried to be efficient. Is what he did.
Oh
He
my
threw
God.
the remnant down to do the damage and then jumped to his previous remnant so he could get back to farming. But that was the raindrop procced it, so he didn't take enough damage, so he just lived. I actually can't believe he survived, but the thing was Ember, I think, stopped to use a flame guard and didn't auto attack move basically, so he lost Orb of Corrosion slow and he just ended up walking home.
Oh my God. I can't believe that. I can't believe that was allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Devil
I really
getting harassed.
thought there was no way.
No. He's got to be kicking himself for that one so hard.
Yeah. That was a really necessary kill. Maybe he shouldn't have led. It should have been Hoodwink first. That also could have been better. Then they could have caught SF farther away from the tower.
Well, looks like Panda going to take a lot of harass. Going to dive underneath. Pakazo turning back around. Does see Genik. He's going to be able to get off a double raise. Turns his attention now to Leo Style. He's got the Searing Chains this time around. He's just going to zip back to the mid lane, forcing the TP from Matthew. I still can't believe that Pakaz survived that. Oh my God.
Yeah, they just walked home. Legitimate. That's like a Dota 1. You just like, oh, I'll walk, click on the fountain, I'll survive. It worked. Didn't cast anything, just clicked his base, kept walking. He's going to go Mask of Madness on Shadow Fiend. Very interesting. high physical damage. He'll have low armor, but as long as he's the back of the fight, it should be fine.
Leo feels mad. Like, he's back down here again. This is his third time being in the bottom lane. And now Chris is also here. The Slight will reveal that the Leshrac is here. Gonna get the bushwhack off. They'll follow up with the Ravage. That's a Dead Sea Smile. Whisper's here, though, too. He's looking to get enough damage over onto Genic. Should be able to find it if he can just get there a little. Oh, no. Dodges the sphere, but cannot dodge that decay. As now the movement's over onto Matthew as he just zipped back to that mid lane. Trying to chase. Panda's here, though. Does have a little bit of a heal to keep him alive. As now Whisper joining in, still holding onto the arena. They've got nice vision, though, over here on the side from Infinity, so they know what's coming, and they're gonna back off.
Okay. Well, good dive at least. They still killed Chris Smile. He tanked the gank, basically. Not very tanky yet, just Arcane Boots, Magic Wand, Bottle. Very burstable if they put everything into him. Devil, aka Frank, is doing fine here. Normal build, Arcane, Mech. This is what I like doing on this hero. And now it is in style because Greaves is like the tanky item. So we'll probably see that continue as he moves towards that item. Yeah, at least his net worth is high. It feels like Tide has been slapping creeps this entire time. SF is above him a little bit, because SF can harass and deny more, but he's had a good game so far. So Infinity in a decent spot. They're even right now with EG.
I feel like Greaves has just been out of fashion for so long. Like,
Yes,
what
yeah.
ended up making it, you know, the go-to item for viewers who aren't aware of it?
It's almost always the same thing. It's that this item wasn't effective or the best, so it got buffed. And then it still wasn't the best, so it got buffed. And it still wasn't the best, and it got buffed. And the best items all got nerfed. Wraith Pact got nerfed, among other things. So, like, Greaves just is not expensive. Mech is very inexpensive to buy now. The recipe cost is only 800. It doesn't give you anything past armor anymore. And then the Greaves upgrade is now 1450. It used to be like 1700. To upgrade it, so the overall cost is just like 300-400 gold less than or more than it used to be. And even like the heal aura got buffed again. It got nerfed a little bit down and now got buffed up again. So the boosted health threshold is now 25%, so you get an extra 7 armor and 16 health regen if you hit 25% of your health. So just a little bit harder to finish people off and better teamfight longevity. That's
Keep your eyes on Whisper. Nope. He has the Blink Dagger just got delivered, and he's going to be able to take down one support, maybe two here, if they can just close the gap. There it is. Beautiful reveal of the Blink Dagger. A double kill for Whisper on the Mars.
That was a great punish, and this is a perfect moment to explain that most top-tier disruptors actually don't get 2 points Thunderstrike. In pubs, it's common to do this because you're like, oh, I'm winning my lane, I'm harassing you, but this is where it matters. If he had 3 points and Glimpse there, he doesn't have to run up so far. He gets the Glimpse back on Leshrac, and they start the fight with like a Static Storm almost under the tower. Instead, he runs up super far. Whisper got his blink at a great timing, and he punishes, knowing this is the guy we have to kill to protect Leshrac. So great punish by Whisper, but that slight skill build difference actually made a difference here. Now let's see if Shadow Fiend can right-click his base effectively. He has.
He has, especially with the global silence. There's nothing to stop him from teleporting. I do have a follow-up question, though, when we're talking about Greaves. Are we going to start seeing heroes that build Greaves come back into fashion now that it's been buffed a bit?
It definitely helps if they naturally get benefits from Greaves, but basically any offlaner hero, it's common for them to buy some like survivability item anyways, so they just buy it anyways. Like Death Prophet buys Greaves now in the offlane. 3-3 and many other players have been doing that. Tide has been a mech and Greaves buyer for a long time, so that one's not abnormal. It's just, yeah, it definitely influences the heroes a little bit, but as a whole, it's just a good offlane item.
Leo has found himself a Sea Smile up top, and they'll even drop the Static Storm to ensure that he cannot get any more spells off during that engagement, so a good pick-off. I'm not sure if they necessarily needed the Static Storm. What do you think?
It's just safer. He doesn't get to land Split Earth. He does a little bit less damage, etc., etc. It's just for the best. Get the kills. It's not the longest cooldown ability anyways. Disruptor's a little bit more about Glimpse in this phase, I would say. So he just needs the levels. Get the kill, get the levels. They're going to try to kill SF here.
They're also going to try to kill Matthew. It looks like they'll be able to get him for sure.
No,
although I say that, and then comes Whisper with an arena, so I'm guessing there was probably a soul rip involved to try to keep the silencer.
Bummer, and then they didn't manage to kill that SF bottom. They didn't have Static Storm, so he just ultied, walked away, juked under trees, and teleported.
Oh, they're turning it back around. Can they get this kill on Leo style? A good bushwhack. Looks like it'll be just enough to keep him alive. As now Terrorblade follow up, a Ravage into play. plus the sharpshooter. Chases on after Whisper. That meta will be enough. They'll kill Whisper and Panda now. He's a big tanky boy, but eventually he will pop. So a good read from Parker, realizing this was the time to teleport to this mid lane and be a part of this fight. As over on the back line, looks like the Disco Pony has been caged up by Prada, but is going to just back off, and they're going to turn their attention right back over to their side of the river.
Good TP by Jim Park there to follow up on that, but yeah, Whisper making a rare mistake, thinking he could kill the Ember, putting him low, but just too survivable there, so it wasn't really that close. There's a mech on Silencer right now, by the way. I mean, it's again, decent support item. It's only 100 mana to use it right now. It's really not that expensive. Again, it's cheap. He's got a pretty big mana pool anyways. If he just uses this to save his SF or his Leshrac, it's a big swing, especially once the Bloodstone comes out. That's what it's going to all come down to. Ultimately, Chris Smiles had a rough game. His 2 deaths, his last hits are okay, but his net worth is just not that fantastic. So, once he finishes Bloodstone, he's going to be able to frontline really well for his team as long as he activates it before he gets chain comboed. And then if he can get healed by Undying and the mech from Silencer, then absolutely he can turn a fight in a big way and they can run down the TB.
Would you prefer, like, I understand why we have the mech over on Matthew, but would you have preferred to see him go for something more like a Force Staff or something and have Panda go for the mech?
Normally,
or is it
yes.
Just about timing?
But, Panda timing, because Panda can't afford a mech as fast as a 4 position can. If 5 positions are playing correctly, this is normal items to have at this point because you have to buy a lot of sentries. You have to be very selfless. You never get to hit creeps. Silencer has moments where he can hit creeps. He's got like 8 more last hits than his other support. And so it's just better for him to buy the mech on Silencer. And frankly, the armor's decent anyways. So yeah, get the mech. It heals your whole team a lot more. Force can be amazing, but it's not good against Disruptor.
Teleports come out top to protect Pakaz. They look like they were just poking a bit, but you could see already Leo Style, the second those TPs were coming in, he's like, nah, I'm out. I don't want to do this. We'll force him up into this part of the map, and I'm going to go and just continue farming because that's exactly what Parker's doing. He does have the Scotty online, though, now. So he's sitting very nicely on top of the net worth. Yep, over on the mid lane, a big fight breaking out, but there's going to be a nice arena from Whisper, so they'll be able to kill Devil, and they'll follow up with Zhenik. That opens up this mid tower for C Smile to start burning down if he wants, but no, they ping over the Roche pit.
Yeah, what they basically did was after that near miss of a fight top, they said, well, there's at least 1 to 2 heroes top. Let's go mid now. Whisper TPs, blinks in, spears back the Tide, and at that point he's just Tide by himself under a tower. He doesn't want to Ravage in that situation, so they basically just get an easy fight where Tide spends all of his time walking away, and then with the arena they managed to catch the Hoodwink as well, who TP responded to try to help. So that was a nice read by Whisper, and this should be the mid tower dying. But we'll see. Maybe Infinity will try to defend it, but it's just hard. Yeah, they're set up late. Edict will kill it. Yeah, they have no glyph either, so yeah, very, very dead.
I also feel like now that they have the Aegis online for Chris, they're just going to try to dodge fights for the most part unless they can find some sort of easy pick-off that falls into their hands.
Most likely. Bloodstone and Aegis, and now he's got a Ghost Scepter coming out too to protect himself from the TB, the real damage threat. TB does have Scotty already. This is a really fast Scotty here. It's going to lower the heal coming out of the Leshrac, so less impact from his Bloodstone, which is the item that truly breaks the hero. It's not as broken now because they nerfed a lot of his skills by a little bit of damage, but you know, ultimately preventing him from being the mega tanky guy is going to be really helpful.
Well, they have the Ravage backup, completed Greaves now for Tidehunter. But again, as we just mentioned, probably not going to be seeing... Oh, okay, that's a nice pick-off. Probably not going to see too much action unless it is a pick-off opportunity, which Leostyle and Zhenik just found.
Yep,
they have Whisper hiding in the tree, though. They're thinking about making moves. Got the arena, they've got a blink.
He has to find Hoodwink, though. There's no way he can kill Ember's Spirit by himself. Ember's just a little bit too tanky for that. Once he gets follow-up, Pakaz is in the area, and he has BKB now, so Pakaz is very ready to fight. Basically, the difference between last game and this game is that they're playing a very passive carry on the EG side this game with Pakaz. Leshrac also needs to get a lot of farming done to finish his Bloodstone, so he can be survivable. So it's just EG had to play a more slow-paced game, is why it was not quite as fantastic as last game. Whereas compared to last game, where they have Tusk mid, Tusk can move around, get so much stuff done. Leshrac is a little bit too vulnerable to all these burst-type heroes.
Well, I saw that they had Pakaz making his way up to the top lane, and you can see that Matthew was also standing by, because they do have the global, so if they were able to land an arena And if Picasso has gotten there just a little bit faster, I think that could have potentially gone very well for them. A glimpse back over onto C-Smile, though, into the Static Storm. This is looking very bad for him. It's going to be the Aegis that gets used. You can see the TPs coming out. Picasso immediately BKBing, followed up with the Ravage Global Silence. The push away over onto Devil. He is the tanky boy right now, as they end up losing Matthew to Leo style. Janek also to fall. A couple more hits, and they just don't seem to have it. They're just being kited with the Scotty, with the damage coming out with a metamorphosized TB. It's just very difficult. Whisper hunting does manage to find Devil, but again, he's got to have the rest of his team nearby, and those are beautiful searing chains that are coming out from Leo style that are preventing it. Plus the glimpse back over onto Pakaz. This is looking very scary. They'll be able to get the kill, and they'll follow up over on Panda. Now Devil, he was trying, Whisper trying to do anything he can, but it's not looking good. They just keep him in the corner. Oh my God. Infinity hitting back with a vengeance.
Yeah, perfect fight there by Infinity. The way they started it was cool. They glimpsed back the Leshrac. They drop Static Storm. With Scotty, he stays under it. And you know what's happening right now is that I think maybe Chris Smile's hating himself for buying Boots of Travel. He had the Ghost Scepter queued up. He chose not to buy it to buy BOTs. And then as a result, if he's got Ghost Scepter, he's under Static Storm. It doesn't matter. He takes almost no damage from it. And then Terrorblade can't just kill him. So if he's got Ghost Scepter there, his Aegis doesn't die fast. If he had it after the Aegis respawns, he still doesn't die. But he was running in to kill the Tide. It looked like he was going to get him, but the problem was that his Split Earth was the damage that broke Kraken Shell on Tide. So he took the damage, he instantly got unstunned, and he popped Greaves and kept running. So then Chris Smile ends up overextending, ends up dying as a result. And it just kind of like led to ultimately the Leshrac being the guy that needed to stay alive. So Infinity wears down the fight. You know, Pakaz had to pop BKB just to save Leshrac on the respawn anyways. So this all kind of focused on them trying to save Leshrac, and Chris Smile end up not having the quite the right items just yet to survive. So a bad fight there for EG, but only 3K behind right now.
That fight was definitely necessary to kind of give Infinity a little bit more footing. Again, we're starting to see the power of this Terrorblade when he has the Metamorphosis up, and with that Eye of Scotty, the kiting capabilities. But again, the rest of the side of EG not in the position to immediately come in, protect, and take the fight the way that they might necessarily have wanted, because they lost Matthew very early on in that fight too.
I missed that one.
Oh yeah, he died in the mid lane to Leo style.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Super early.
Yeah, if they had Global Silence, that could have protected their heroes as well, you know?
Yeah, that's true. They had used it a little bit earlier here. Matthew getting clicked down by Leo style. Global Silence is going to get used. They'll still end up losing Matthew, but there's a lot of people. Oh, Leo style, that BKB just running out in the perfect time for Whisper to get the arena up. They'll chase after Genic now, and they'll put pressure. I'm not sure if they can get their hands on anyone else. They still have Ravage online on Devil if they want to try to counter-initiate.
He's got Ghost now, though, on Chris. So he'll be survivable. Ooh, they're gonna Glimpse now. Glimpse play for Chris Mount. They're gonna fight.
There it is. There's the Glimpse drag back into that Ravage like we talked about. He doesn't even have a chance to hit the Ghost Scepter.
Yeah.
Just obliterated. Very nicely played by the side of Infinity.
It is. We'll see if they can take the mid-tier 1 tower. They've got Glyph here. They have not touched it yet. Little curse damage.
I don't think they can full defend this. In fact, look at this. Yeah, they go in for a little bit of smoke. They
Oh,
find
good
Pakaz. BKB comes out now from Parker. They've got the BKB on Pakaz. He's going to try to teleport out. Can he do it fast enough? That was the question. Ooh, he just barely makes it out. Matthew will end up getting glimpsed back, though, so he will be the one who has to die for this tower. Oh, that was a butt-clenching moment.
It was. I mean, it all came down to Genic, really. He threw out the Acorn shot, and it happened to bounce to the SF while he's walking through. I don't know if he saw him or if he was just guessing that there would be a hero there. It's a good guess when they're defending the tier 1. But it ended up stopping the Blink Dagger on Shadow Fiend. I don't know if he was planning to, like, Blink BKB ulti or what. It wouldn't have worked against Terrorblade because Terrorblade has had BKB himself, but maybe they're trying to combo something. But ultimately, it leads to him dying, or sorry, BKB TPing. They lose Silencer and they lose the tier 1. So another good moment for Infinity here. They're really holding it together.
Got the Maelstrom completed now for Leo style. That's going to be coming out. So a little bit more damage in these fights, which will be quite helpful. And now we're seeing that Infinity, they have the gold lead. They've got a 4K net worth lead at this time. And you can see just sitting at the very top, it's, you know, Parker with 18,000. Next closest is Pakaz on the SF with 13.
Yeah, it's a big advantage for the Terrorblade. He's played almost every fight perfectly. His team has set him up nicely. He's been the damage that they need to get these kills. He's almost got a Daedalus picked up, so his raw damage is going to be incredibly high. Things like Mech at this point are not as effective as like Ghosts or Force Staffs, but
So the smoke broke on C-Smile. So is Whisper. They ping over the tree line. It is Devil, so they're going to start just chipping away at him. The rest of the team is not in position, though, so this should be a very dead Frank.
Yeah, he didn't actually know that he had broken the smoke. That was the problem. He was standing in that place to, I don't know, break smoke or do something, but he broke it, but eventually his opponents just kill him. Bummer
Yeah, the rest
for
of the
him.
team just not in position. Leo Style, though, over here in the mid lane. Do you see the TPs coming out, though? Looks like they're going to try to make a fight, but with Leo Style being pinned over here onto the tree, he's going to just immediately die. Kaz holding on over here in the Static Storm. He has the BKB up available if he still wants to use it. Glimpse back over onto Whisper will ensure that they can't quite close the gap, but you can see now C-Smile, he wants Prada. He needs to get a little bit closer, and he just doesn't have the reach.
Good attempt, though. Pakaz saves BKB. They get a double kill. I can't believe that Leo Style was playing in the area. Personally, that seemed a little bit aggressive considering that his Tide had already died, but... and they're going to go for a smoke and do something else. Probably going to cross the map, most likely, and try to anticipate where the TB is going to farm, and that's what they're aiming for here.
That seems to be the
They're
play. Again,
moving
to have the
over.
Blink Dagger, BKB on Whisper with the Arena. So if they can get the
They don't
vision,
see
if they
anything.
can close it.
Whisper, they're going to
They ping.
clip forward next one. They're going to see him here. All right, they see him. Are they gonna sell
Whisper
Janet?
opening up. Just going to go after Genic first. Still getting into position, though. Whisper does have to be careful, though. There it is. There's the Ravage. But the BKBs are immediate coming out from the side of EG. But look at Whisper. He's got to run away because the Scotty damage is just so intense. He's going to have to BKB teleport out. As now Panda getting chased by Leo Style. They'll use the whip on him. The follow-up with the Remnant. He's going to try to use the ultimate. Try to be a little bit more tanky. Try to stay alive as C-Smile's pushing out some of the damage on the back lines. Is forced to use that Ghost Scepter. But the glimpse back from Prada. They have the vision up on the cliffside. They go. They drop the Static Storm. They'll end up losing LeShrek. Matthew going to have to teleport away. As now Whisper and Pakaz over on these back lines here.
Yeah, it's a tough team fight there for EG. Whisper missing the stun on the Hoodwink kind of set that up because he ends up getting disabled. That made it easier for Infinity to go in and layer things back towards him.
They're
And
gonna
yeah,
go back
Criswell
in.
does have the Ghost, but it only gives him a little window there. And Glimpse is just helping elongate that window in a way that's really good for Infinity. And
They're
now
going in without
they're gonna take
without
Roche.
BKBs.
Are you talking about, with this fight? Yeah, I guess so. Huh?
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. There's no BKB. All right, Parker goes in the middle. The global signs a
Who needs
beautiful
it?
ultimate, though, coming out. He pushes two of them out, though. Leo's sitting so low, and it's going to be an Aegis going over to Pakaz. They'll get the kill on Leo Style. That was, oh my god, one hell of a gamble. As now they'll chase after Zenek. That's a double kill for Pakaz. Dios mío, what am I seeing? Oh, the
I mean,
cojones on these boys.
They didn't have BKBs.
Oh my God.
But they knew their opponents
Oh my
didn't have
God.
BKBs either. So they just blinked Global Silence and ultied. So SF gets this like god tier Requiem off that their
Holy
opponents
shit.
absolutely did not expect because they're like, well, I'm going to get Requiem off in melee range anyways. So boom, instant huge amounts of damage. Now he's just going to almost killing the Disruptor.
But the Glimmer. All right,
Saving
all right.
his life, yeah.
Oh my
Really
god, that
nice
was
ball there.
beautiful.
It
A
was.
little bit
It was
off the
a
mark
really
with
good
that spear. They really want Prada. Prada drops the Static Storm, and Whisper uses the BKB. He's like, I'm not afraid to use this. Devil
gonna-
joining in here. Okay, that is the Aegis that gets popped. Coming back up again. BKB over on Parker because he's trying to get out here. Does have the BKB, though. He's going to turn back around, get off a couple of these clicks. But it just feels like they're trying to disengage more than anything else as Parker chasing after Panda. He's trying to see if he can get his hands on anyone here. Does have the Silver Edge. Whisper waiting patiently, though. Look at this. The way that he's standing behind, has his eyes, is going to take out Prada. Now Parker turns back around and says, I can't believe you did that to my support, but he doesn't have any ways to cancel out this TP, so he's just gone.
All right. Nice picking off of their opponents there. 2k gold advantage now for EG after these last couple engagements. Park's still looking for a kill. He's got Silver Edge. He's got
Oh my
meta.
God.
He could kill Panda here. Doesn't even need to transform. Really nice kill there.
Oh, but the Bushwhack over on Pakaz plus that Ravage. Oh, man.
Nice job. Truly hunting. You don't really expect the TB to gank you like this. It's not common to be like, oh, the Invis TB is going to jump out and murder me. Well, there it was. Tons
Well,
of damage there.
This cracks me up
Burning,
because this is something that Pakaz would have done, though. Like, that's very much a Pakaz move, I feel. Mid lane, put some damage out against Devil. Should be able to get that kill. But the bushwhack over onto C-Smiles. This is scary. He cannot afford to go down here. So Ghost Scepter will buy him enough time to be able to waltz away.
And there's no glimpse
Matthew's
right now,
staying in the area. Does have the global silence. They're hunting. They're ready to go for round 2. They're gonna have that arena up. They've got the blink. In fact, there it is. They have the dust, the pin over to the side, looking for the split earth. They need to do enough damage here. He does have the BKB though. There's the global silence coming out as well. Matthew getting clicked down by Leo Style over on the back lines. C-Smile turns back in here. They have the Remnant gonna just run out of the rush pit, but the bushwhack, oh, it's nice, followed up with the static storm. They'll be able to take down C-Smile as now Whisper grabbing 2 of the supports over here in this arena with Panda trying to help out. Looks like he should be able to get the double kill, but now Leo Style has his eyes over onto this Panda. He's gonna be able to just rip him apart, as now the only one standing was the Mars on the side of Evil Geniuses. This game has been wild.
It has been extremely wild. It's been hard for Lesh to get in there and be really effective. I mean, he got in, cleared out the TB illusions, but TB presses BKB, so then he's just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to die after this is all over. They've got Greaves up finally as well, and Shadow Fiend's inching towards his Satanic. He's actually almost got it, about 400 gold to go. But it's a close game. It's a really close game. TB is a big monster. SF is going to get scarier here. I love the late game pivot to Arcane Blink that he's planning. He's got all these right-click items, but he's like, but it's still worth it to ulti within a fraction of a second. It really does impact the game in a big way. So
I mean, we saw what a good time ulti can do when you're enabled to get it.
Yeah, tons of disable, plus lots of damage. I mean, he really is applying the nice carry potential that they need to make their lineup feel stronger here. Even Leshrac is like, I need evasion, so he bought a freaking Elven Tunic to try to increase his survivability. I mean, I'm sure he wishes that he had the armor item, whatever that Blast Rig. Blast Rig would be really nice on Leshrac here. He just needs survivability against the TB. That is the problem that he's encountering.
Yeah. For sure. I believe, did they finish the Refresh Orb? Yeah, we've got the Refresh Orb online now for Whisper, and he has been playing out of his mind. These opportunities that have been presenting themselves have been just so nice, but just the response coming out from Infinity, like if EG mess up one initiation, the way that Infinity immediately jumps back in and reinitiates has been just terrifying. And like, look at this. They see C-Smile over here. They're tracking. They want this Leshrac. They know that he's having such a difficult time. Glimpse back into the Static Storm, followed up with a Ravage over onto 3 on the other side that they didn't even see just yet. C-Smile is going to end up dying. Matthew next to fall. Panda getting chased now by Devil. That Ravage was beautiful. Whisper, though, having that arena. Pins 2 over to the side, follows up with another. And they're going to lock them down into place. Plus Picasso with a beautiful ultimate. That is a double kill now for C-Smile. They get Devil on his way out. Holy shit.
Dude, that
a little bit of a glimpse here for Prada. I don't know if he's still going to be able to survive here. C-Smiles, he's hunting, gets the split earth off. Down he'll go.
I mean, I thought that was looking so good for Infinity. The initiation was great, right? The Terrorblade runs around scouting, looks for the right opportunity. It sets up a perfect combo on the Leshrac, who doesn't have BKB yet. They ravage him. They use the Nullifier. They kill the Leshrac. It looks so good, but the Whisper just like stuns 2 really important heroes together. And then he pops the Refresher and stuns him a second time. So that's what's so cool about this build. It's like, he doesn't even need to Arena Blood twice. He just needs Arena once and Spear twice. And all of a sudden, he's stunned 2 heroes for like 7 seconds. And now he's ready to go again because he used Refresher before. So, huge catch from Whisper. If he doesn't catch both those heroes on top of each other to let Pakaz set up the perfect ultimate, then that's a fight that Infinity keeps rolling into towers. So, great comeback there from them.
Picasso has been so enabled this game to get off these beautiful Requiems. It's been so much fun to watch. Again, though, it's still very neck and neck. Like, it's tight going back and forth. You only see... Yeah, you can look at these graphs, just the way that they keep shifting back and forth in terms of, you know, who's going to come out on top.
What are those
so
hotkeys?
crazy.
I'm afraid to press them.
I think mine is F7. I'm not sure if yours is also F7.
It is F7. It is up and down.
Hooray!
You're so scared to press my F keys when even though I'm in Dota TV and I can't actually pause this game.
Oh, I see. Spooky. Yeah.
Don't want to press F9, the Finn all pause, you know. The Valve employee who accidentally paused a game during TI once.
Oh, really? Which one was that?
It was a long time. It was probably like TI4 era around there. Okay. He just it was like during a fucking team fight too. He like paused the game and it said like someone paused the game, and all the players were like question mark, and he just typed oops, and then he respawned and he resumed the game.
I mean, what else can you do at that point, though, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh,
He's
I
like,
fucked up.
my
really
bad, guys. I
Yeah.
feel real bad about this. I'm just gonna let you guys do your thing.
Arcane Blink is ready to go for SF now. Big mana pool. He's got the quarterstaff from the Mask of Manus disassembly. I think he's just gonna hold on to it for now.
Yeah, might as well. I like how he's
Hex
holding
is
his
up
own
on
sentry ward too.
You need it, man.
Yeah.
That way he can jump in and catch these glimmer kills, you know? You can't, like, allow a TB or an Ember to live from a glimmer save from Prada, you know? That would be
feel like Dust
way too
would be-
catastrophic.
I guess it doesn't matter, right? I'm sure.
Both are good. I mean, the Dust is kind of a downside because of BKBs and stuff. Like, if you
Oh,
dust
that's
them and they
true.
BKB while they're glimmered, then they'll get away, you know?
Mhm.
So sometimes a Sentry is just better. It's cheaper,
Look,
too,
this-
actually, right? Dust is like 80
Yeah.
gold. Gotta save money.
Everybody learn from Pakaz here. It's okay to have your own sentry. Sometimes
That's
it makes
true.
the most sense.
And you get
Don't-
gold sometimes if you know there's a ward.
Also, you get gold if you murder someone. That's also
That's true.
very much worth it. Smoke
Or,
play coming
murder
out.
observer wards. Love murdering observer wards.
Spoken like a true support player. Chris is being very wide here in this this movement. Yeah, the smoke pops immediately. It's gonna
He's
dive
gonna try to
away.
stop the push.
Question
be
is,
really
how did they
careful.
take this fight? Yeah, look at the way that Frank is positioned over on the side here. He's anticipating something coming up, and Whisper jumping in. Only going to be able to grab Genek. But should be able to take one of them out of the equation. Okay, they're going to buy back. Global Silence gets used immediately. The Ghost Scepter over on C-Smile, trying to keep him alive just a little bit
alive.
longer. They have the heal. They go back in. Prada is going to end up falling. Now Leo Style getting chased after by all of EG. They want to get rid of this Ember, and by God, they'll be able to do it. Devil now, he is just on the back foot. He's trying to get out of here. He's not going to be able to. Triple kill now for Whisper God.
I can't believe that worked out so good for EG. I mean, it started with Whisper blinking in, missing a spear, and I was like, oh shit. I blinked in aggressively, missed my initiation, now they're going to go on me. But he pops BKB right before the Hoodwink gets a stun off. He manages to Arena Blood the Hoodwink in, guaranteeing the Hoodwink kill. And then when he almost gets ravaged, he runs to the left, pops Refresher, pops BKB again, and managed to kill the Disruptor with his Refresher setup.
Doesn't manage to get the spear, but doesn't matter. They have the damage. And now Parker, he's hiding over here on the side. He uses the meta because he does see Panda. So that'll be a nice quick pickup. And now they're aware that he's here, which is pretty scary. Does manage to go and get the courier. That is a gem that ends up falling. Using the dust, the meta, the BKB Whisper. He's taking so much damage. He's tanking everything. And eventually does end up falling. Prada, though, is going to have to die on the side of Infinity. But Parker managing to get out at the last moment. Gets himself that kill.
Dude, that was fucking sick from Jim Park. That was a really cool kill attempt. It's like a smart thing to do when your whole team dies, right? Your whole team's dead, you're alive, and your opponents in their brain, they're like, we can do whatever the fuck we want right now. There's nothing that can stop us. And that's like sometimes the best time to go for a kill as a high net worth hero. Because they're going to be a little bit spread out. You're going to be like, I'm going to kill one of these guys. They're not going to see it coming. So that's what he does. He goes in there, he breaks the Mars, he removes his damage protection from Bulwark, and he just blows them up. And the most baller move was the, like, my illusions got this. TP's away, lets his illusions finish the kill. That was fucking cool. And now he might be able to contest Roshan here. Let's see. Nope.
Nope. Was a good try, though.
Either way, still really good kill. His net worth is still monumental. SF is caught up big time, though. SF very close to Refresher Orb, now transitioning a bit more towards the nukes because his nukes are so good. Shadow Rays applies attack damage. And they got a Timeless Relic. Oh, they're going to put it on Shadow Fiend instead. Interesting.
They've got cheese on him as well. So this guy is going to be very difficult to take down. Plus the Refresher Shard. Oh my god, he's so kitted.
He is really farmed, yeah. Normally you leave the Relic on the Leshrac, but in this case where Lesh is less of a like combo monster and more of like a I need to stay alive and do good damage. Like SF getting a 20 or 15% damage amped ulti increase is really powerful. And with the Refresher Shard, he's got a Refresher ready to go. So yeah, it makes sense to give him the damage amp right now.
Wouldn't be surprised to see them go for... Okay, so they hand over the cheese to Whisper. He's going to have the Refresher Orb back up in a couple of seconds. Wouldn't be surprised to see them push out these waves and then go for a immediate smoke. Havoc Hammer also found on the side of Evil Geniuses. What do we have over
Pretty good
here?
one.
Trickster Cloak.
I really wish the Tide would have picked up a cloak at some point. I get that like he had to finish Greaves, then he wanted to, then he bought like a Sange, but I think just a cloak alone would have been really. Does he have it coming? He just bought something. He has not bought it. So, but it would have been really nice. He's got a lot of survivability, but he's against a Leshrac and an SF and stuff. I just think a cloak would help. Maybe it wouldn't have made a difference, but he's always like close to another item that's important. He needs Halberd to stop the SF from attacking. He needs Blink Dagger so he can land good Ravages with his team. You know, it's like sometimes that gold can matter, but it just feels a little bad. I would delay my maybe delaying his refresher by 500 gold doesn't matter either. It's more important he gets 2 ultis off, I guess.
I would say that Frank has been on point with these Ravages, though. He has really been able to make a maximum impact during these fights. So the blink definitely paying off. But yeah, it is the question of, you know, if he had gone for this item or this, would it have made, you know, enough of a difference to get them in a better position? And again, it has been super back and forth this entire time. So
EG
they're about to get swung on.
Yeah, they pushed the mid lane just a little bit. Let's see if they can get a good jump.
If they get Prada here, look at the way that they're playing. They know. They know something's coming. They know that they're on the way. Smoke will pop. Whisper. Gonna get bushwhacked, so he's not gonna be able to take out any of these,
Jim's just killing the
Parker? Well, he's got a BKB, so it's okay, I guess.
Might have been
that was super ballsy.
Yeah, he's playing really cool. Genuinely really effective. I would like to see him maybe buy a shard, actually. Maybe it's I mean, he's got a lot of regen from Refresher. I think he should get a shard. He doesn't have boots right now because he's so freaking rich. Give him the Demon Zeal, you know? Like, burn you lose 20% health, which is kind of a lot, but he'd be able to run around a little bit faster. I guess Silver Edge also accomplishes that goal, but nobody buys it. Literally nobody ever buys it. So I feel like this could be
you get it when, like, it's a free shard, maybe occasionally, but no, you're absolutely right.
He'd rather just save his money to get Ag's upgrade, to be honest. That's going to be more effective, most likely.
All right, Sea Smiles has the sheep stick now. He's got a new item online, Smoke. From Infinity, they're going to take a fight without being close to Parker, perhaps? Although Parker, all right, he's used the Silver Edge. He's backing off.
They're trying to get to him. They just need to play together because the fights are so important here. Not a great time for TB to fight since he has no meta, but he could refresh for it just a little early. They see Smile. Matthew trying to break smokes over on the other side of the map.
But no one's showing on the map. Like, that's so scary for Infinity to have to play into because they don't have, like, any vision at all on this map currently.
They don't, yeah, and that's why they're playing so together, I guess.
Yeah, that's scary. And they're playing into an Aegis, into Cheese. With a refresher shard, like I get what they're trying to do, but it's. Ooh.
They're just over there because they're hoping to get a pick off, not necessarily a team fight. That's all. They were expecting maybe like one hero to poke up, they could kill them and escape. That's why they were playing it so like in the trees with their whole team. They know they shouldn't take a real fight, so they were grouped in a weird place where there's only likely to be maybe 1 or 2 heroes. So if they jump and kill the hero in that situation, it'd be completely worth it. Let's see what Terrorblade does. He's gonna peek into the tower and It's really just doing a great job pushing this pressure forward. It's going to force EG to cross the map again. Looks like Chris Smiles can be the one that walks to it. He's going to get spotted here.
I mean, he does have the Aegis for another 5 seconds if he wants to try to use it, but he's got to be so careful with this timing. There it is. Aegis going to get reclaimed.
Close. Trying to cheese the barracks down. It's an okay option for something to do. Yeah. But he is... There are also... I mean, they can't team fight because he's got BKB on cooldown, but they weren't going to fight anyways, right? So that's what he's thinking. Like, he's like, well, I might as well split push with my BKB because they can't stun me. This just feels like a better use of my time, which is pretty correct. Losing meta kind of sucks too, but again, he's got refreshers, so if they really need to fight, he's got the cooldowns. And refresher on TB is not really... It's not... 2 BKBs in a fight as TB is amazing, obviously, but like... Just 1 meta is more than enough usually for a fight, unless you die or lose.
Whisper, finding the opening, plus the sheep stick over onto Leostar. He just explodes completely. They do have buyback though. This Ember can be in the fight if needed, but I'm sure he would prefer to not have to use it.
Yeah, we'll see if they go high ground for this. Doesn't look like they're gonna. They're just gonna keep farming and get their net worth increased. But Hex is an item that's really been trending a lot. It's not up yet.
Yeah, I know, because it just timed out over on on C-Smile. But I mean, at this point, like the game is so in your hands. Why not just wait for that Roche again?
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah. But yeah, Hex has been trending a lot. A lot of players have been buying it. People on Tundra, people all over the place are buying it. It's perfect this game for Mars. It increases his mana pool when he's got Refresher. It gives him the ability to blink Hex stun. There's a Hex on C-Smile as well, who also followed up with a Hex. This is like a common Lesh combo. You blink and Hex somebody, use all your spells, stun, follow up. It's like so much damage for like 6 seconds of stun. Just makes a lot of sense here.
Oh, this is big. Did you touch upon the Agnum Scepter being completed on Disruptor?
I did not. I didn't know he got that. That's great.
I just saw it. This could be potentially huge. Okay, the smoke does break. And it is a Panda. Did have himself an Invis rune, so they're just going to take a quick pick off if they can, but they can't. Look at this. Whisper jumping for it, grabs 2, pins 2 of them right to the ball, goes to the Refresher, already BKB, so it doesn't even matter because they should just be able to click down Parker. And that's exactly what they do. Another arena just for Prada, just for their friend here. Pakaza's dominating. Yeah, Whisper God. Whisper God.
I can't believe they caught more. But it's amazing. The double stun is just so powerful when he catches them.
Leo Style trying to fight against Pakaz, but he's already used that Satanic follow-up with the Ravage, though, from Frank. He's gonna push forward here over to Pakaz. He's got the BKB. Metamorphosis gets used by Park. They should be able to get enough damage over to Pakaz unless he can TP out in time. Can he do it? He does. He manages to escape as now C-Smile taking down Frank with a little help of the Silencer. Leo Style, he goes too far. He went way too far. He's silenced. He can't escape. And now Parker looks like he is going to be absolutely murdered. That might be the game, my friends. There is no buyback on the TB. Looks like they're gonna end up losing the Disruptor again. Holy shit.
Man, Whisper Mars is so fucking good. He is just so good. It's just incredible. He just finds the combos. He manages to like blink combo these guys without them pressing BKB. It's wild. I don't know how he does it.
I mean, I was saying earlier, I was like, you know, Pakaz and Whisper, the two best players here in, yeah, they call GG. The two best players in SA. I'm not sure who's better. I would have to say after this performance, Whisper, 100%.
He does so many good things for the game. Pakaz is excellent by all means, but like,
yes,
your offlaner being like this amazing really makes a big difference. Did they have vision in this top jump? Let me see. I'm going back in time. Oh yeah, okay. Leo Style was taking the shrine, and that's how Whisper got him.
Oh my god.
He blink Hex into stun. Pakaz BKB ulties him. Then they end up going on the bot side of the map eventually. I want to see the jump where he catches Terrorblade. You can talk normally because I know you can't see this, but
the downside of not having our production together feels bad, man.
But basically they smoked. Prada's smoke got broken. Panda put the sentry down. Panda gets stunned. They use Global Silence and back. Silencer has Refresher, so he's ready to go. And then Whisper just like blinks in. Did he have a gem? No, he just ran in.
No, he did not.
Bro, did he just get lucky?
Whisper's that good. Like his sense.
Well,
just...
oh, I see. He could see them briefly. There was a moment where Terrorblade was visible. Then he invised after or something. Oh yeah, he used Trickster Cloak, but he like just comboed both, and he managed to stun both.
Man, what a godlike play! Definitely MVP Whisper, hands down.
Wow, yeah, his catches were just so fantastic. Let's go live. Oh, it's done. The throne's gone. Where did it go? Where'd the throne go, Moxie?
Oh man, that was such an entertaining series though, and I feel like if you're Infinity, you still feel really good about what happened. Yes, you know, you ended up losing, but it was a real back and forth nail biter for a little while because like it looked like, okay, you know, evil geniuses, they're in control, and then one fight would just turn it around and give Infinity enough footing to stay in the game just a little bit longer. Like it was super fun, honestly. It was really good.
It was a really good game. The game 2 was good. I think the reason it went well is just because EG's lineup was wasn't very like tempo based. Because if they have tempo based heroes, they're so skilled that they're able to just dumpster their opponents. That game was more plotting, deliberate, find the right team fight type stuff, which obviously they still excel at because their initiators are so fantastic. But yeah, amazing game. Definitely very good.
Yeah, that was super fun. I definitely want a clip. Somebody in chat clip the Roche fight where Pakaz just has the biggest cojones and just jumps
Yeah.
into everyone. That was super cool.
I
But
spent
yeah,
17 kills that game. It's fucking bonkers.
that and like his itemization, his positioning. This guy's just so good. It is super fun to see him.
He almost did top DPS that game. He was 1,000 behind Leshrac. They both had 30, 35, and 34,000 damage. That's insane. Top DPS is a Mars when he didn't go like Deso or something. Holy shit.
Do you have any finishing thoughts on this here, Purge?
I
know that you've got stuff going on today.
My prediction.
Oh, that too. That's a good point. / prediction.
Evil Geniuses won. I had 4% predict the other way, and they were probably so excited. They're like, oh.
I have 100% going for Evil Geniuses. Nobody chose Infinity.
They changed their mind after. Last game it was like 90-10. This one was like 97-3. So. Okay.
Well, congratulations to the people who picked EG.
Yeah. So I need to be somewhere at 3:30. I need to leave in about an hour. I could probably play like one game or something if you want, or we could play some other custom game. I gotta pee mega bad though, so I'm gonna go do that.
Okay. Why don't you go pee and I'll close this out for now.
Okay,
oh, there was one individual who voted Infinity. Good for you, Infinity voter. Good for you. Is that you, Swashbuckler Jack? Yeah. So. This has been super fun. I'm glad I got the chance to cast with Purge. It's one of my favorite people to hang out with, just period, and then also to cast with. I've been lucky. I've gotten Purge. I've gotten Neff. I was hoping to maybe try to get Jenkins at some point or do like a tri-cast with him, because him and Purge together would be super fun. But yeah, so I'm unfortunately not going to be streaming next Sunday. I know that's the next day that we're going to have SIDPC. I have my grandfather's funeral weekend, so I'm going to be very, very busy. I'm actually not going to stream tomorrow because I've got a lot of stuff that I need to kind of prep and prepare for. Yeah, that's going to be it then for this week. I want to continue. I believe that we have SADPC games on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will definitely be doing some coverage. I'll probably do the games that start at noon EST. Hopefully I'll be able to grab Purge again at some point, or Neff, or like I said, try to get Jenkins. Maybe I could see if Effie might be interested. That might be super fun. But yeah, I know that we are not the official stream, and I really, really appreciate that you guys want to come hang out with us. You want to hear our insights, our dog stories about dogs, and whatever. It means a lot, especially because, you know, both Purge and I do not have any official DPC work, so all of your support really goes a long way for us. And yeah, we hope you enjoy it. So I guess now we will maybe play a pub if you want to hang out. Thank you so much, Throne. Oh my gosh. If you want to watch Purge and I play pubs, we were pretty funny together. Purge is very chill, which is nice. He's one of the
That's not true. I mean.
Oh no, he's back. He heard me say nice things about him.
I listened to you the whole time while I was peeing.
Son of a bitch. Wireless headsets.
And there was no latency.
Oh man, okay. I'm jealous. I have these, like, they're earbuds by Creative. They're like the highest rated ones for like gaming. And like I've got the little Bluetooth dongle goblin or whatever. But I still have that little bit of latency. All right. Glad no audio of the Purge pee. Purge was purging himself, guys.
Oh, it felt good, dude. That was very necessary.
All right,
oh, I gotta pick my guild contracts quick because it's the.
Oh, I always forget to do that. Wolf always has to remind me about doing my contracts.
Dude, the problem is that like all the good ones get taken so fast because there's a lot of EU people in my guild. So like all the good ones fucking No, I should not do all random. I suppose you can. I'm sure you can handle random draft, single draft, but. Right.
We could do random draft or all pick. Those would be the two I'd be down.
Those are the ones almost never get grabbed in. But yeah, almost all the good ones are it's always like the shitty ones that are left by the time it's mine, and I don't like picking hero ones because I prefer to be flexible in game.
Well, play earlier, dude. Then you can play with me when I'm streaming.
Or I just need to set my alarm and wake up at like 9 a.m., go downstairs, choose my guild challenges, then go back to sleep. Could also
That's insane. Who does that? That's like a crazy person. That's crazy person talk, Bert.
It is.
What do I want to play? What do I want to play? I'm guessing that blue is probably going to want to carry, so I should support them.
Maybe I'm trying to think. Do I even have? Was I even planning to go over Jay? I'll focus on draft first. Maybe I am gonna be streaming more today. I'm not sure. I got my dates messed up. I thought it was Friday today.
Oh, okay.
I got very confused. So maybe it's not today. Maybe I'm going over tomorrow.